Leche. 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 Get 'em, Jimmy, where low shack at. The bottles getting nippy up the crack and we stacking chips. All of it's what I want. Plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone. I prefer elevated public sports radio. Time to get educated, get produced. Leave the juice, letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call it truth. They getting slaughtered. Can't forget Jeff and low baggers in the chat. That's a lethal weapon, 'cause we be pubbing.
What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Wednesday, August 31st to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. Middling day yesterday. Pistol Pete Loshak went to 5-0 in friends and family. We did lose that, though, but, you know, still a spectacular record with friends and family. 4-11 plus 11.68 units. It's okay. I'm not sure what everybody else is putting on the friends and family parlay, which I didn't even bet the first 5 or 6 of them. I wasn't sold on the idea, but Jose got me sold on it, so I'm just putting $100 on it. So, you know, it's I guess it did sort of cost me a winning day yesterday. It was a strange day yesterday. The Tampa Bay Miami Rue McClanahan, I don't know what she was up to, but she did not start the game for the Rays, so it voided the 2 bets there. It voided a winning bet for Pete that first inning. Cash Royals first 5 plus 110. It was 5-0 going to the bottom of the 5th, and then it became a fucking sweat, but we cashed that. Dodgers New York Mets first 5 over 4.5, which ended up being my favorite bet on the board. That's why I used it for friends and family. That cashed comfortably, but the full game over 8.5 did not cash. Yankees Angels over 8.5 was just gift. Philly Arizona first 5 under 3.5 was a mistake. It was a loss. And then Padres -1 was a fucking push, man. 4-0, then 4-1. 4-1 going into the bottom of the 9th. Fucking pissed me off. So it was a 3 and 2 day plus 0.85 units. That's just counting the single bet action. I don't count friends and family as part of my baseball record. But that's what happened yesterday. I'm really excited to have Moose Money Bets on the show. A Moose Call Play of the Day he gave us last week was a casher, comfortable casher, and he's 9-9 on the show. And, you know, it's I always feel like when you come on this show at first, the success isn't always right there. It comes. So I expect I think that's a pretty good record for his first 2 shows, 9-9. That's an average line -108. So he's down 0.7 units. I think he's going to catapult into the black is what I think. It's great to see all you guys. We get the keys. We get the keys right now. We're getting the keys right now. So as of next week, I'll be shooting from this fucking studio with a door. Pretty exciting. A closet, the door, a lock on that door. I'm pretty excited. And it coincides with a bunch of new shows that we're going to be doing. And it is now time that I've been waiting very patiently. Jose, are we ready to we are ready to, okay. So we are bringing a new voice to our NFL show, and I've been teasing it for a little while, and he's hopefully going to come on and make a little guest spot appearance this week, give you a little taste. But those of you in the NFL capping community will know this man's work because he is alongside the Whale Capper in the Deep Dive podcast. And he's a hell of an NFL capper. And he will be capping alongside with me every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. And that man is Andy Molitor. Andy Molitor, this is it. Gridiron Gamblers every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And we're getting after it. We're getting after it. It was a nice winning year last year in NFL, but we can do better. We've started the preseason 12-2. 12-2. And we want to continue it. So that's starting next week. That's 6 days away. Andy Molitor from the Deep Dive podcast and Bet Spurts. So Andy Molitor will be my co-host every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. as we break down the NFL. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat. We got Armchair MMA says, what up, boys? Kevin Nash going to be at the dispensary near me launching his new strain on Friday. Let's hit the bookies like I'm about to hit that jackknife. I like it. I like it. Armchair MMA. There's our guy LJ from H-Town. I was, just everything's like upside down right now with the move, but LJ from H-Town put down an NFC breakdown. I'll retweet it today. I'll retweet his NFC breakdown. Our guy LJ from H-Town. You will see him on our Sunday NFL Pub Hubs. You'll see our guy LJ from H-Town. 3-2 on MLB yesterday. And best bets. Astros money line, Cardinals -1.5, Chicago Sky -5, Serena plus 210. There was a very cool stat put out yesterday in 20 years ago, Serena won, maybe it was 21 years ago. In 2001, Serena won at the U.S. Open. Vladimir Guerrero had a hit. Dante Bichette had a hit. And Craig Biggio had a hit. And then flash forward 21 years later, Serena Williams wins at the U.S. Open. And Kevin Biggio, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and Bo Bichette have a hit yesterday, which is pretty cool. I'm going to copy and paste LJ from H-Town's action. Thank you for sharing that with us, LJ. Looking forward to see everybody's record on our big NFL Sunday Pub Hub. Last year's winner was the Big Ragu, and he has the belt. He has the belt that we made for him, so we'll see who wins the belt this year. Shout out to Razor Sharp Picks in the house. Razor says, what up, Jimmy in the chat? Nice 1-0 plus 300 day yesterday with Gamblers First Glance. And the winning streak continues. Just one losing day since August 20th. Let's keep it going, guys. I love that. Keep it cashing. There's Clint, star of the Die Hard MMA podcast. Great to see you. Can't wait to hear your NFL breakdowns this year. You had a really quality season last year in NFL Pub Hub too, Clint. I'm excited to watch you work this year. There's Bet That with Jay in the house, ready to get to work. Ryan Mueller, what's happening, my man? Ryan, great to see you. Tim Montana BX says caught bad beat last night at Padres run line. Yeah, I mean, I had the -1, so I pushed. But that again, like, it's helping me, I think. Waiting till we break it all down here on the show and studying the market before I get my bets, and I think it's helping. But certainly hurt me yesterday because I could have got on the Padres money line earlier. By the time I moved on it, it moved to -130 in my book, and I took the -1 at +102. Michael Irvelina says another good day to be alive. Yes, absolutely. Billy Friedrich in the house says the only thing that saved me from a disaster yesterday was the Contender Series. I love that. Yes, we did miss the parlay by a run. That'll happen. We're still. What's our ROI on those parlays? 77.87%. Let's not panic. Sammy Culmer in the house. Great to see you, Sammy. Sammy, let's see Sammy's action right here. We go. Sammy is on Mandlik plus 1.5 sets and a Keys Garcia money line from Sammy Culmer in tennis. There we go, right there from Sammy Culmer. I've copied and pasted that. Mike M, ready to get to work. Professor Chris. And Nate says there's a JPZ joint that mentions me. I got to find it. Yes, I've heard you mentioned in a JPZ joint. I've heard that. Mo Harris. Ready to go. A spreadsheet play of the day is in. It is the Atlanta Braves from Ron Crawford. Nice cash yesterday for Ron with the Dodgers. Pop that in right here. All right. And, nice. Look at that. JPZ's working with Gio today. Julian Cesario's son. That's beautiful. Julian Cesario is our low bagger since they won. I partied with him at Santa Anita, hammered the horses with him at Santa Anita, and he's a great actor. Julian's a great actor. So you can see he's got a trailer that just came out for his latest movie, which we will all support. Our guy Julian Cesario. That's dope, JPZ. And what up, Gio? My man, what up, Gio? Von Polo in the house. Tell you, man, families that cap together, stay together. There's Mark Schillingberg says, what up, Blowback family? Yesterday was looking bad, but finished last night on a 7-1-1 run. I love it. Said bankroll slowly coming back to life. I love hearing that, Mark. By the way, speaking of families that cap together, Ella bet her first horse race and cashed it in gate to wire fashion. It was pretty exciting. She wasn't as excited as I was, and then I had to tone down my excitement so that she doesn't think that the only thing that matters in our life is whether she hits horse races. But I was pumped up, man. She's 1 for 1. We went back to Woodbine, and she didn't want to tarnish her perfect record. She wasn't very comfortable with any of the horses that she was seeing. She takes a good look at them. Takes a good look at them. There's our guy, Ick Schnizzle says, okay, nice. Andy is great. Yes, we're excited. We're very, very excited. Jessica Easton in the house says, congrats on the new home. Thank you. And she'll be there on Tuesdays. Well, Jessica, we need you to be a part of our Cappers contest. Our Cappers contest and our Survivor pool. Jose, my man, can you pop that up? This is a big deal to us. $100 a pop. We are going to lock in the lines on Wednesday. And then you have until Saturday to put in your action. Saturday, I believe at 9 p.m. Eastern is when the cutoff date is. And Jose and I will be hosting our own show on Thursdays at 2 p.m. where we toast the victors, we roast the losers, and also Slaughter has signed us up for the Circa Millions. So we will have our own entry form for the Circa Millions. And right after our show Thursday, we'll decide which games we're going to pick, and then we'll send them in. We will send them in. So that's exciting. And Jose and I will not take 1 cent of the winnings. It will all, if we do find the glory that obviously we hope to, we wouldn't be paying, we wouldn't be entering it if we didn't expect glory. We'll go into a huge party. A huge party. There's Joe Yurkovich plus 15 units from the last 35 days. I've been watching, Joe. You're money in the bank. There's Stella Girl says, love this time of year. It's very exciting. Coin in the house. I love it. Okay, let's get to work. Thank you guys all so much for joining us. Oh, we have our guy, Sky Dragon, aka DG, the great Dennis Garcia, Fuxovix. I believe that is tennis. I'm going to guess tennis. Looks like a moneyline tennis play right there. Okay, great to have all you guys here. Clint saying, I'm so pumped for NFL. This is exciting. Ethan Pace on Padres first 5 minus a half seem to be figuring out with Musgrove on the mound, and Woods struggles against the Padres. Von Polo on Dodgers moneyline, and we have an NCAA football spreadsheet play of the day from Ron Crawford, who's running hot. No, 100 for each contest, Ron. It's separate. And Ethan Pace saying, looking to bet against Serena tonight. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. needs one more hit in his next 2 games to become the fastest youngest player in Blue Jays history at their 100th career home run, says our Bo Jackson. There's Kyle Hintley in the house. Reaver says, do we have to have picks in by tomorrow or Sunday? Well, there's no football this week, Reaver, my man. So don't worry. We don't need to have our picks in until next Saturday at 9 p.m. Where was the look from? Oh, there it is. NCAA spreadsheet play today. Penn State. Let's get that locked in. Okay, let's get to work right now. Thank you guys all so much for joining. It's okay to get ahead of yourself, the Reaver. We're all pumped up about it. We are all pumped up about it. Let's bring on your guest for today's show, your star of today's show. This will be his 3rd show with us, and I love the way he breaks down MLB. You will also see him starring alongside Dabby Cab in our NCAA football live bet streams. And our next one is this Friday night with the 2 of them starring on it. Please welcome to the show, Moose Money Bets in the house. Moose, how are you, my man?
Oh, I'm doing really well. I don't think I'm doing as well as you are right now with that new house. And before I get into anything, I wasn't able to be in the chat yesterday. I was teaching, so I was in the classroom, and it's not really, it's not very professional to be on your phone and watching YouTube videos. As much as the students might do it, I try to abstain from it as the teacher. I can be found doing it every once in a while, but I do want to say congratulations. You're just one of those people that I know the community will echo this. It is so awesome to see you succeed. We are so happy for you. If there's one person I think we could all kind of collectively pick to just start making it in life and become a bigger force in the gambling community, I know my number 1 draft choice would be you. So again, thank you for having me on. But more than anything, congratulations on the new house. I'm really happy for you.
Oh, thank you, man. Those are extremely kind words, and I'm just so excited. Ella's 5 last year. She realized, she doesn't have her own bedroom. Her friends do. Carter, he doesn't know really what's going on. He just runs fast and falls often. But Ella knows, and so we're really excited. Really excited, and have space and to feel safe and all that's going to be wonderful. Thank you so much, Moose. That means a ton to me. And thank you all the kind words that I've been given. It's a wonderful feeling. Thank you, guys. All right, let's get to work and get that cash. Moose, you're 9-9 with us through 2 shows, and that's good because there has always been this penchant for people on their first show with me to not be successful on their first show. It's this weird thing that happens. I think there's nerves involved and pressure and all that stuff, and then as you get over the nerves and the pressure, the wins start piling up, and that's we believe in you. And I think that 9-9 is pretty good for the first 2 shows. Nothing, So
It's also baseball.
Yes, and baseball is very difficult. But
Yes.
I love where you're at right now, and I expect glory today from you, my friend. Thank you guys so much for watching us here on Pub Sports Radio. Let's get to work. We start at 2:05 p.m. Eastern. Houston Astros, 83-47, 40-27 on the road. At Texas Rangers, 58-70, 28-37 at home. And we are adding another capper to this because our Jose Bouquet will not be able to break down these afternoon games on his show, Say Hey Plays of the Day. So let's get him so we can have his afternoon insights for these games to get us through the workday. Jose, how are you, my man?
Admittedly, I am a little tired today. There was a lot of work to be done last night and this next couple of days because there's so much things happening. It's going to be a lot of fun. I spent $500 yesterday, which made me want to off myself. But birthday and shit. So here we go.
Yes, your birthday just a few days away. What was the $500 spent on?
I'm doing for the first time in my life doing a baseball game birthday. So doing one of those minor league baseball shits, renting this patio and all that stuff. So whatever.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It's a good timing because the team that the local team plays here is the team that my friend's on. The guy that plays in the Astros system. He actually was. I was there yesterday. He played, and he got a home run robbed off him, and I almost ran on the field and fucking beat up the center fielder for him. But yeah, no, it's gonna be a fun weekend. A lot of good games going on, good plays. I lost another stake bet by 1 run. Maybe want to kill myself there too, but it's gonna be a fun day nonetheless. So, and it's always nice seeing Moose Money's smiling face as well.
It is. Damon Santor says, I got my Texans Watson jersey for $3. You think Carter wants one? No, is the answer. AJ says, are you still keeping your Parkdale place, Jimmy? Yes, we're keeping the spot.
Yeah, I want to rent it from Jimmy. He won't let me. I'm not on that totem pole yet.
We are keeping the spot. There's R2D2 Finland. What a weekend it is ahead for R2D2 Finland. His 2 nephews are both fighting this Sunday in the huge fights in LA. So we get to see small town soldier Joey Spencer in action, but both his nephews are fighting. Spencer's minus 500 right now at Bet365. Yeah, he's a beast, man. Lightweight, the future lightweight champ, Joey Spencer. R2D2 Finland, so exciting that both your nephews are on the same card, man. He must be so proud.
Well, by since you didn't mention the other one, is the other one the underdog?
I'm only really focused on Joey, unfortunately, right now.
Spotlight's on Joey.
All right, well, that's fair. I'm gonna bet on both of them. Shout out to Joey.
I think we should parlay both of them. You're right. I should have got that going.
Well, let me tell you, that'll be my addition to Friends and Family on Friday.
Oh, I like it. I like
Joey,
it.
Joey Spence minus 500. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go here. We start with afternoon baseball, 2:05 p.m. This game pops off in a little under 3 hours. Christian Javier going up against Martin Perez. God, I was going over Martin Perez, and I was sitting there thinking, God, we could use him in Toronto right now. And I was thinking he got to be 35 years old. He's only 31. Feels like this guy's been in the league for so long. Javier's last start was a 2-0 loss at home to the Orioles. 3 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 4 Ks, 1 walk in that 2-0 loss. Do you know why he only went 3 innings in that spot? Do any of you guys know? I probably should have spent more time and went back to that game because I was unsure why he left that game early.
Yeah, I wasn't really paying attention. I just remember that I was kind of like half checking in, and all of a sudden he was just out of there. So I didn't even know if there was a weather delay or if it was just one of those things that this time of year you can get guys that have like back tightness or something just kind of starts to tighten up on them, and teams can be very precautious, especially with the playoffs kind of coming up. And if you've already secured your spot, maybe just a cautious move because he's right. I mean, the fact that he's right back out there suggests that they're not exactly too worried about whatever might have happened.
Yeah, absolutely right. That's well put. Mike Moore said he fumbled the bag yesterday. He's livid. That will happen, Mike. Let's just stay focused and take it day by day. On the road, he's a little worse than he is at home. On the road, 2-4, 3.53 ERA, 214 opponent's batting average. Martin Perez, on the other hand, what a start that was in Colorado. Somehow we were still able to easily cash the first 5 over. The taint play of the day that day was the full game over. Both easy cashers because they won 16-4, but Martin Perez did not allow a run. 6 innings, 4 hits, no earned run, 7 Ks, 1 walk. At home, he's 4-2 with a 2.60 ERA, 224 opponent's batting average. His splits are very similar. Astros versus lefties last 30 days, they're absolutely raking. It's back to the old Astros team that destroys lefties. 297, 868 OPS. Rangers versus righties, 250, 700. And the Astros bullpen is starting to show, be the bullpen they were all year long. 3.67 ERA, 1.38 whip over the last 30, but they're starting to get their shit together. Rangers bullpen, 3.56 ERA, 1.16 whip. Let's go over the line movements here and the cash flow and then decide how we want to hammer this first game on the card. So let's get here. Here we go. The line history. This is at Pinnacle line history. No movement at all. There initially was an 8-cent move, even up to 9-cent move to the Rangers. It's all come back. So right now there's been a 1-cent move to the Astros. From a total perspective, it opened at 7.5 minus 102 to the over. It's now plus 100 to the over. So no movement. But the first move was towards the over. There was an initial 9-cent move to the over, but it's come back. Let's take a look at the cash here in MLB. We have 3,997 tickets in, 22% of the tickets, and 60% of the cash on the Texas Rangers. 55% of the tickets, 81% of cash on the under. And we've seen no movement there. Very, very interesting spot. Let's start with our Moose Money bets. Astros, Rangers, take it away.
I do have a play in this. I will be on the under 7.5. If the first 5 was a little bit better juice to the under, I also would be split full game first 5. But I do really like the pitching matchup here between Javier and Perez. A weird kind of scenario for the Astros is they've been crushing lefties, but a lot of that was kind of earlier in the month. Recently, it hasn't been nearly as much. But one weird fact is that they have not seen a lot of lefties on the road. Since the beginning of August, they only have 70 plate appearances versus lefties on the road. And when you're talking about changing batters' eyes and also facing the left-handed pitcher, it can create kind of a weird perception of what the ball is doing. And we just saw it last week with the Detmers going up into Toronto versus the Blue Jays, who hadn't seen a lefty or haven't seen a lot of lefties over the last month. And you saw them really struggle the first few times around to get acclimated to seeing the ball come out of that side of their vision. I do like the under here. I really think Javier is one of those pitchers that he kind of gets knocked around when he doesn't play well or doesn't pitch well. But in the games that he pitches well, he is absolutely lights out. He can get hit hard, as I mentioned, but more often than not, he's going to be able to get swing and miss stuff. And Martin Perez, I mean, what more can you say about a guy that was expected to just start the decline of his career? He's been an absolute stud on the mound. He's had one bad game against the Astros in the 3 that he's pitched. The other 2 starts were absolutely outstanding. Went 7 innings, was able to limit them from scoring. I really do like the under here. I get that the Astros do have really good numbers versus left-handed pitchers, but how much of that has been on the road? How much of that has been recent? And I'm going with it's not as successful recently. So I do like the under here, and I did take the 7.5 full game. I did not go on first 5. I did go on the full game because I do think that the Astros bullpen, their metrics show that they're going to improve dramatically, and Texas bullpen has just been pretty solid.
It all makes sense to me. I mean, just from reading the market, the expectation that the Rangers are in business here would lead you to believe that the Astros won't hit them that hard, and that the information that they've not seen many lefties lately is very interesting. And then, the Reed Detmer example was interesting. Let's hear what Jose Bouquet has to say. Jose, Houston, Texas, the battle of 2 baseball teams in your great state.
Great's a little overstating it, but I am ultimately passing on this game. I think Moose Money's comments about the Astros and them hitting lefties on the road is interesting because I looked that up just now. They only have 52 plate appearances on the road against the lefty this month.
Wow.
97 weighted runs created plus, which is 17th, a little below average. So yeah, I was gonna lean towards a team total over 4 for the Astros, but after doing all that, listening to Moose, I'd rather pass. Watch the under. I tried to hit a team total over 3 yesterday with them, and Razor was on the under. Of course, that lost, so kind of learning lessons, moving on. So I'm passing on this game.
And the Astros have been trending under pretty consistently here, but the Rangers on the counterpoint have been trending to the over. I just think pitching is going to dominate in this game today.
Wow, it's just such an interesting idea. I'm a little surprised that. Oh no, the under has it's taken 4 cents. I guess that's something. It had taken 6 cents a little while ago. Huh. Wow. And it's taken about 15 cents of action since the initial move towards the over. Vipers on the Astros -1. Wow. Okay, so let's line shop for you right now. This was not part of my plan, but I think this is getting me to lean towards that under. So let's move over here to Penny and see what we can get you exactly here. I know I have the. Maybe I should just trust this instead. Why don't I just trust this here? Here we go. The money line for you, or sorry, the under 7.5 -114. I'll see if we can beat that with Circa. But I guess this has all made me interested in that first 5 under 7.5.
And for what it's worth, not one home run hit against Martin Perez yet for the Astros. Not one home run yet.
Oh, wow. It's -103 at Circa. Thank you, Stella Girl. Wow, that's a big difference.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's a big difference for Moose. And then let me just see what I would get on the first 5 under here if I wanted to move on it. The first 5 under 3.5. Too bad not a 4. Not hanging a 4. 3.5 is touch and go. I guess that makes me like the full game under as well. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm very interested in that look, and I may be riding with you here. I'm going to take a little bit more time, but Moose is on the board under 7.5 at -103. We move on to the next afternoon game, 2:10 p.m. Eastern. Pittsburgh Pirates 49-80, 23-44 on the road at the Milwaukee Brewers, 68-60, 34-26 at home. We're at American Family Field in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We have Zach Thompson going up against Freddie Peralta. Zach Thompson going up against Freddie Peralta. Why don't we start with the line history in this one in Milwaukee? Here we go. Sorry, just take a second. So we have an 11-cent move to the Milwaukee Brewers from -240 to -251. And from a totals perspective, we have a 5-cent move to the over. 5-cent move to the over and a slight move to the Brewers. Let's take a look at the cash flow in this one and see if it all correlates. And there's 2 teams with full line value and 2 teams with half line value on today's card. This is one of the teams with a half line value, and as you could imagine, it's the Pittsburgh Pirates. 2,194 tickets in. The betting public doesn't believe it or trust it. 20% of the tickets on the Pirates, 19% of the cash. Then 37% of the tickets and 77% of cash on the under. Zach Thompson on the road, 1-3, 4.72 ERA, 260 opponent's batting average, better than he is at home. In his last start, it was at Philadelphia, and those bats, I mean, they're destroying lefties, the Phillies, but they're hitting righties decent. And he went 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, just 1 was earned, 2 Ks and 0 walks. Freddie Peralta, on the other hand, looked spectacular for a little while at home versus the Cubs last out. 6 innings, 0 hits, 5 Ks and 1 walk. At home, 3-3, 4.64 ERA, 198 opponent's batting average. The sample size is too small to put any to think that he's struggling at home. He needed that last start to kind of right the ship. Pirates versus righties, 228, 650 OPS last 30. Brewers, 225, 728 OPS. And neither bullpen looking that strong, depending on how you analyze it, because there's still people that, you know, their Brewers bullpen 3.94 ERA, 1.27 whip over last 30. There's still people who believe that this is an extremely elite bullpen, which is easily the case. Billy Friedrich says Thompson 4 starts this season versus Milwaukee, 17 2/3, 13 earned runs, 20 hits, and 6 walks. There's Trot Wham in the house. Great to see you. Wham, bam. Your season is just around the corner. Wham, bam. Let's start with Jose Bouquet here. Pirates, Brewers, afternoon action at American Family Field.
Yeah, another pass game for me, unfortunately. But I guess if I had to take something after those, Zach Thompson numbers, I'd probably actually go with a Brewers team total. I don't hate the Billy Friedrich's first 5 team total in there just now. I don't hate that at all. But this is probably just another pass game for me because the Milwaukee Brewers are just extremely unreliable at the end of the day. And we don't know what Craig Counsell's doing no hitter for Freddie Peralta through 6, pulls him, and then the bullpen immediately blows that game for Freddie. So I am going to pass here. I will be interested to see how he does. We talk about certain pitchers, kind of like Domingo Herman, who were hurt throughout the whole year, come back in the middle of it, struggle in the beginning to get their shit together, and then figure it out and start rolling. Freddie Peralta, another prime candidate for that kind of stuff. I believe it was an oblique he was out with for a while. He's back now. It took him a couple starts to get his shit together. After that last start, is he going to keep rolling from here? I think so. I'm passing here, unfortunately, though. Don't trust the Brewers bats enough to want to back them, truthfully.
Yeah, it's well broken down. Let's hear what Moose has to say about this spot. Pirates, Brewers.
Yeah, first off, shout out Trotwam. He was on with me and LJ breaking down that NFC card. So again, if you haven't done so already, check that video out in the NFC breakdown. For this game, I really did like the under here. I do think Thompson is going to start pitching better. A lot of the reasons to think so is last year, kind of in the similar sample size, 3.24 ERA, 226 expected batting average against. So he's had success at the major league level, and really teams aren't exactly crushing all of his pitches. It's mainly been his cutter that has just been absolutely destroyed. He's getting hit 281 batting average, 555 slugging, but his other pitches are somewhat reasonable in terms of what hitters are doing against it. So I wouldn't be surprised if Thompson starts pitching better. He's done it before, so there's precedent. I can absolutely see Thompson be a guy that can have a sneaky good game. I think Peralta is absolutely the real deal. All of his metrics suggest that he can continue to do what it is he did. That was not an aberration. That's not going to be one of those games where you just go, oh, that was the elite primetime Peralta. I think that's more or less what you can expect from Peralta moving forward, is a guy that can just get any hitter out in any situation. He might create some traffic, but he can absolutely get out of those situations. I lean under. I didn't play it. Milwaukee has been very good against right-handed pitching, and you also alluded to the fact that Thompson has not had success. And for a pitcher that's trying to figure things out, the last thing you want to see is a team that you've absolutely struggled. That is not mentally going into a game. You're already having yourself on edge, and your preparation can just be different. Whereas if you're more relaxed in different situations, it can be a little bit more productive. And I don't really see that here. So I'm not playing the under, but I absolutely took a hard look at it, and I just ended up staying off of it. So ultimate pass, but I did like the under.
I still like the under. The Pirates bullpen isn't as bad. Like I have a vividness bias of them getting outs and taking care of business when I need them to, but I just let's just go through. I would like to go through Thompson's last 5 or 6 starts and see when it was last that he faced these Brewers here. So last out against Philly, a nice start. His last 2 starts have been decent enough. He got touched badly versus Boston in a third of an inning. Then at San Francisco, 5 runs, 2-1. So the last time he faced Milwaukee, he allowed 3 earned runs and 4 1/3. The time before that, 4 2/3, 2 earned runs, 4 2/3, 2 earned runs. It was that second start of the year where he got tagged at Milwaukee, 6 earned runs in 4 innings. What am I going to get here on that first 5 under? Because I do think Peralta is going to continue pitching well, but I've always been a fan of his, which does complicate the scenario a little bit. Yeah, I don't see why this wouldn't be. If you can trust Zach Thompson, then I don't see why this wouldn't be an under. And I know that a lot of people can't trust him. And that's why at this point, 56% of the tickets are on the over. But just 23% of the cash, I think this is another spot where I want to take the first 5 under 4.5. and I plan to do that. Anthony says Brewers get a few off Peralta. Bullpen for each team gives up 2 or 3. There's Stimmy OG in the house. Coin saying Reynolds has nice numbers for Peralta. 7 for 18, 471. Anthony's on Milwaukee. Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. To your point, Pittsburgh bullpen, I get it has like a 5 ERA the last month, but FIP 3.42, xFIP 3.96. There's absolutely expected improvement. I do like Bednar coming out of the bullpen, but it should be noted that there are signs that prove that they are going to improve as the season kind of winds down here.
Yeah, which they generally do. I'm gonna I guess there's 9 runs on that full game. 5 on it. Okay, I'm not sure if I'll go. I'm not going to double up, but I'm going to decide between the first 5 under 4.5 and the full game under 8.5. Quickly, we have action in from R2D2 Finland, and there's one that's popping off here in any minute. It's Finland Cup FC Lahti versus KUPS Cups. So he's on the KUPS minus 1.5. And that's at plus 150. So that's KUPS minus 1.5 at plus 150. And that's in the Finland League. And R2D2 just is, I think he's got the highest ROI of anybody in the history of the show of just giving plays out in the chat. So that's from R2D2 Finland. And then he's got more action here that's in the chat that he's rolling with here. Let me just get that up here. So he's making moves in French soccer. He's got Lille money line Montpellier versus Ajaccio, and he's got Montpellier money line. Astros under 7.5, Dodgers under 6.5, Mariners minus 1.5, and Cards minus 1.5. Also for our guy R2D2 Finland. Okay, let's keep rolling that, and I'm going to be moving on either the first 5 under or the full game under in Pittsburgh, Milwaukee. All right, let's move on to 3:45 p.m. Eastern. We have Moose Money's Friars in play. What a roller coaster ride they've taken you on this year. I don't really remember a team with such extreme highs and horrific lows as these Padres have given to you this year. 72 and 59, 37 and 31 at the Giants, 61 and 67, 34 and 31 at home. It would be easier if the Padres had been winning for the last 10 years.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But the problem is you've had some high hopes with some free agent signings, and it's not come through. And you're in this division with the, juggernaut Dodgers, and it looked like at the trade deadline, you guys were going to make some big noise. I don't know what you guys are going to do now, and I don't even know what Joe Musgrove is going to do from game to game. Musgrove 8-6, 2.96 ERA, 1.05 WHIP, great numbers. His last start, he went 3 2/3, 8 hits, 5 runs, just 2 were earned. Homer, 2 Ks, 1 walk, and a 13-5 win at the Royals. On the road, he's 5-3 with a 3.16 ERA, 240 opponent's batting average. Going up against Alex Wood, a man that JPZ does not believe in. 8-11, 5 ERA, 1.24 WHIP. His last start was at Minnesota. 3 innings, 6 hits, 8 earned runs, 2 homers, 4 Ks, 0 walks, 9-0 loss. I have this vividness bias of him pitching well at Oracle Park, but he's not pitched very well this year. 4.42 ERA, 276 opponent's batting average. Padres last 30 have a nice batting average versus lefties, but limited power. 264, 727 OPS. Giants versus righties, 214, 652 OPS. Giants are just playing up the string. It feels like the Giants and the Red Sox are playing similar baseball here, where they're just not putting out enough effort. Padres bullpen 3.01 ERA, 1.34 WHIP over the last 30. Giants bullpen 3.53 ERA, 1.41 WHIP over the last 30. Joe Yerger says Giants are down almost 26 units now, which was, I can't believe I'm going to throw the money away on the White Sox, but we were given this gift on a silver platter from Nut Flush Allen on the season win total under for the Giants, and I blew the money on the fucking White Sox. Let's go over to the line history, and then we'll go into the cash flow, and then we will start with our guy Moose as his Padres are in play. There has been an 11-cent move to the Padres. I legitimately, when we were all said and done yesterday, and I was going over my action, I was like, oh, the Padres -1. I also loved the Angels-Yankees over, but I was like, oh, the Padres -1 is a fucking slam dunk. This is going to fucking cash. And to push it in the 9th inning was very upsetting. My 11-cent move to the Padres from a total perspective. It opened up at 7.5, and it has moved to 8. It moved to 8 2 minutes ago. 2 minutes ago, it moved to 8 at Pinnacle. And when we take a look at the cash flow in this one, we have 5,119 tickets in, 76% of the tickets, 82% of the cash on the Padres. There's been an 11-cent move over there. Maybe not as much as you'd like if you were on the Padres. Then 34% of tickets and 62% of cash on the under, and yet it's gone up to 8, which is confusing. Let's start with you, Moose. Your Friars in play. What do you think about them here?
All right, I mean, first, I'm going to limit this rant. I promise I'm going to limit this. But there have been significant issues with Preller and communication ever since he was hired. He was suspended in one of his first years as GM. And I think a lot of people seem to just forget about the fact that he has had brutal communication. I mean, he came in and fired a manager that was pretty damn good in Bud Black and just tried to clean house after trying to win a championship in the offseason, something he has done repeatedly, and it has not worked. What you have Nick Martinez coming into back-to-back games, getting multi-inning saves, you know you've had an issue because he is not a guy that should be in that role in any way, shape, or form. So something I am doing, full disclosure, is I will either make money off of this the sequel to last year's collapse, or I will pay to have them get into the playoffs. So I will be having money on the Giants today, and it's going to be something I'm just going to do the rest of the year. And I know it's not exactly the best betting strategy. It's actually probably a terrible betting strategy, but last year's collapse was so brutal and it was so consistently bad that if you are on the correct side of that again, you're going to make money. And if they seem to correct it and get into the playoffs, I will still be absolutely happy because this is the one team I have, and it's the one fandom that I'm all absolutely diehard about. So if I need to pay to have them get into the playoffs, I will absolutely do so. But more of a realistic breakdown, Musgrove has owned the Giants, and he even pitched against them in July, and he did extremely well against them. Alex Wood, I get it. Shout out JP. He has just absolutely abused Alex Wood in his bets and has made a lot of money off of him. The Padres have struggled in recent memory versus pitchers that they were supposed to absolutely crush. Notably, Patrick Corbin. I mean, he came into San Diego and absolutely, I guess, quote, dominated us. So I really could see Wood having a decent game. I could absolutely see this being a Giant spot because the likelihood of the Padres going into San Francisco and sweeping is not exactly realistic, especially when they didn't do it in Kansas City. So I don't see them doing it really here. I would love for them to go on a run and become a team that can be a quality playoff contender. I really don't see that happening, to be honest. There's way too many errors. I mean, I'm still watching Austin Nola miss catcher pop-ups. I'm still watching pitchers throw the ball away on standard PFPs. It's just bad baseball. I'm pretty much going to be on a fade train down the Padres stretch run, and if it's successful, I'll have money. If it's not successful, I'll at least possibly be able to buy a playoff ticket with whatever remaining bankroll I have. But I do kind of like the over a little bit. Padres bullpen has given up way too many runs, and Nick Martinez probably not expected. And Hader has just been an absolute mess. I don't know how he's still around right now. There are so many things that can be discussed from a pitching coach perspective. I won't get into that too much, but there are significant issues with how he is internally rotating and then getting to his extension point. And until he's able to finish that or get that mechanical adjustment finished, I don't really see any reason to think that the Padres bullpen isn't going to regress hard down the stretch.
I love the breakdown, and it is at 8 at Pinnacle already, Razor. I love the breakdown, and then it's the whole idea about fading your home team is if you deem them overvalued. And that's what Dennis has been saying about the Toronto Blue Jays for some time. Dennis is here in Toronto. He loves the Blue Jays, but it's more important to be a successful capper than to be a fanboy.
Yeah.
And he's been fading the Blue Jays every single game. And look, I know the Blue Jays have won the last couple, but he's way up. He's way, way up. So I can understand the idea and expecting them to break down. And what have you started this fade of the Padres yet?
Yeah, I've been on it for about a week and a half now. I started it. I forget who it was before the Guardian series, but that's when I really started locking in because I was kind of dibble and dabble, just kind of like, here and there, just kind of like pick my spots. But very recently, I just said, what, fuck this. I'm just going all in. Like I'm either gonna pay to have them get in, or I'm gonna get money. And I agree. I mean, it is an overvalue situation, and you can just look at Musgrove today. He has not pitched nearly as well since he got his contract. A lot of his issues have happened in one inning. Like he'll just have one inning where it just goes off the rails. I mean, that's what happened in the Royals game last game. He was pitching great until the fourth inning, and then it just went off the rails. And you can see that with guys that really emphasize the breaking ball, because the number one pitch that you lose as you start to get tired or as you start to fatigue, whether it's in the season or in a game, is the breaking ball. The breaking ball will be the first pitch that you lose if you start kind of fatiguing or your stamina is getting low. If that's happening right now, which it kind of does seem to be happening, kind of they're indicators that it is occurring. If that is the situation, absolutely, you want to try to figure out a way to get ahead of what could be a potential struggle situation. My buddy says that Joe Musgrove is absolutely the pilot of the struggle bus, and I do not have anything to counteract that.
Oh, that's fascinating. I love it. And so, what is the how are you up after?
Yes, yeah. Right now, I'm still up because a lot of those lines were plus money. And I haven't absolutely. I mean, I don't really want to take the time to go through all of it, but I know
don't worry about it.
The Royals series, I was off on Sunday, which is ironic because that was the one day they won. But it's just the first five was something I was saying initially, like, oh, Padres fade first five. It was cashing left and right. And then I added the full game because it seemed like the first five was also leading into a full game loss. And the full game only started the second of the Guardians game. So it hasn't been a lot, and that end has been a losing end. So the full game bets have not been profitable, but the first five bets absolutely have been.
I love it. I love the breakdown. The final afternoon game on the slate, Jose, the last game that you will not have the ability to talk about on your show. Take it away. Padres, Giants, NL West battle.
Man, Jimmy, I look stupid, but I'm not stupid. I'm not following up on that. Moose fucking said everything he needs to say. He's the fucking Padres fan. He cooked it right there. Good job, Moose. Great breakdown. I'm not on anything here. Alex Wood sucks ass. The Padres are
Felches.
Oh, is that what it? Oh, look at that callback jokes. We're hilarious here. Yeah, Alex Wood Felches, and I cannot get my money behind Joe Musgrove right now. Ever since he got that contract, it's kind of been downhill from there. I don't know. I just passed. Minus 145 is a little bit too much, and the Padres are just major disappointments right now. The Dodgers, the Giants, the Red Sox. There's another team that you mentioned earlier. They're all kind of in that category. They're teams that are not in the playoffs, not good enough to tank, or not bad enough to be bad and tank and all that stuff. So they're just caught in this middleman, and it's tough to bet on them. So I pass on this game. And I hope they make the playoffs, and I think they will make the playoffs for your sake, Moose. 2.5 games back, or 2.5 games up, I should say, of the Milwaukee Brewers. I just think the Brewers are too bad.
The team total for the Giants, this is not Flush wondering, it's 3.5 here at plus 108. But I'm sure you could find a 2.5 or a 2.5 heavily juiced, or a 3, slightly juiced. There you go. Damon Santori said last season Trumpy called the Padres collapse. This isn't nearly as bad. Well, we will see. We shall see. So, Jose, you're going to come back on for a say hey play of the day, or more, or multiple?
I will let you know, because as you know, I'm having technology issues here, so we'll figure my shit out. But I'll let you know for sure.
Okay, that is the afternoon. Oh, and before you go, Jose, who is your guest on today's big show?
Another excellent question. I think I'm writing solo today again because, small card, and plus these solo shows are very interesting and intimate, because I get to talk to the chat. It's a great time. Everyone's interacting. It's a fun ride. But yeah, might be writing solo today, getting some work done for the football season. Very exciting. Very excited for all the good stuff happening at Pub Sports Radio. And like we always say, I'll put the links in here while we do it, but go support the Buy Me a Coffee link on the Pub Sports Radio website right now. Atlantic City trip. Dates are coming. I think dates are coming sometime soon. It's going to be a lot of fun.
That's the big news and the big point. Dates are coming. We have decided to just lock in the dates. That's the best thing for us. So dates are coming for our big Atlantic City trip. I love it, Jose. I hope you come back with a say hey play of the day. And thank you for your hard work, my friend.
Thank you, as always. And Moose, by the way, just to let everyone know, I asked Moose to be on my show.
Okay.
No, don't, Moose, I'll out you. Don't worry. But no, I don't like double dipping with Jimmy's guests. We'll give you a rest, Moose. Don't you worry. Why don't you go watch some baseball today? Maybe enjoy a Padres game. Who knows?
Oh, I'll go coach. I got some coaching I can do. So.
Well, Moose, I actually need you to coach me up because I need to get back over 70. And then get back over there. My arm hurts thinking about it, though. So you and Cab combined, I think I'll be throwing 95 in no time.
Yeah, well, my process. It would involve the weight room, so.
Shit, fuck that.
All right, let's get back to work here. Next up, 6:10 p.m. Eastern. I do not think that Jose will ever be able to touch 66.
Yeah.
He'll never be able to touch 66 on the radar gun in his life. Baltimore Orioles at Cleveland Guardians. Baltimore Orioles 67-61, 30-37 on the road. Guardians 68-59, 33-25 at home. We're Progressive Field in Cleveland, Ohio. Let's start with the weather in Cleveland, Ohio. Oh, and we didn't talk about the weather in San Francisco. It's 57 Fahrenheit, 7.9 miles per hour. Goes up to 9.3. The wind swirls in Oracle. It's not a big deal. Let's talk about the land home of the great Schnizzle. 82 Fahrenheit, 14.4 miles per hour left to right, down to 12.4 miles per hour. Let's go over to the line history in this one. In Cleveland, Lyles versus McKenzie. You couldn't find two pitchers that differ more than these two. What the hell's going on here? It's taking a second to load. Here we go. The line history is right here. We have a 5-cent move to the Guardians, a 5-cent move to the Guardians. And from a total look, we have a 14-cent move to the over. 14-cent move to the over, 5-cent move to the Guardians. When we take a look at the cash in this one, we have the second team on the board that has full line value, and that is the Baltimore Orioles. 3,581 tickets in. 27% of the tickets, 46% of the cash on the Orioles. Then 56% of the tickets and 75% of the cash on the over. 75% cash on the over, a 14-cent move to the over. That seems to correlate with what I'm thinking here. And I think maybe that's the move. Jordan Lyles is not to be trusted on the road. He's terrible on the road. He's been decent this year. 99, 4.45 ERA, 1.46 whip. He's coming off a really nice performance at home. 7 innings, 2 runs, 1 earned run, 1 homer, 2 Ks, no walks, and a 4-3 extra inning win at home versus the White Sox. On the road, he's terrible. 5-7, 5.85 ERA, 285 opponent's batting average. Then you have Tristan McKenzie, who's now hit 147 and 2/3 innings. 142 Ks, 37 walks, 21 home runs allowed. He's coming off a quality start, but against the team in the Mariners. Now, it was in Seattle, but the team in the Mariners, he got touched in that first inning for 3 earned runs. And respect goes to McKenzie. He got his shit together, and he cleaned up the rest of the game. He went through 5 straight innings after that, not allowing a run. But he's seemed a little more susceptible of late. He is better at home than he is on the road. 5-2, 2.78 ERA, 185 opponent's batting average. Orioles versus righties last 30, 246, 707 OPS. Look at the Guardians. No power at all versus righties last 30, 654 OPS with a 242 average. Orioles bullpen 3.81 ERA, 1.29 whip. Questionable. The Guardians bullpen 1.74 ERA, 0.95 whip has been very good. Take it away here, Moose. Orioles, Guardians.
I really do like the under. In fact, I played the under. I totally understand that McKenzie's beyond his pitch limit. But one of the things, I said this on in the chat in the daily sesh yesterday, was if there is a situation where a pitcher gets beyond their pitch count season high for their career, if they are in a playoff push, that adrenaline can take care of a lot of that fatigue issues that you'll start to see. And the fact that he's had a 14 strikeout performance very recently is telling me that his breaking stuff, and it was, I watched that game. He was absolutely lights out. So his breaking stuff is still absolutely top notch. And Jordan Lyles has had some road struggles, but mixed into those road struggles are some absolute gems. Just his last, you have to go back a little ways, but his start against the Rangers earlier this month, 6 1/3, 7 hits, 1 run, and you can kind of go through and find some decent spots where he's pitched well. The Guardians, you mentioned, they're not hitting for power at all. And the flip side of that, when you talk about the Orioles, I think it's always important to discuss their home road splits, and they have definitely played better at home versus right-handed pitching since the beginning of the since the beginning of the month on the road. Only 86 weighted runs created plus, and they've had 427 plate appearances versus right-handed pitchers on the road, and they're minus 8.2 weighted runs above average. So there's a lot of reasons to think that they will not be nearly as efficient offensively. And I took the split on it. I really do think Lyles can pitch well here against the Guardians. I think that's kind of what Sports Insight is alluding to when they give full run value, is that they are expecting a pitching performance from Lyles that will be productive. But I do like the Guardians full game. So I am on the Guardians full game -1, and I am on the under full game and under first 5.
Okay, well, let's lock you in. Now it's half line value. So, but that still means that Sports Insights does expect a nice performance from Lyles. Let's get your -1 first. That's a -169 and a +124. So let's put that in the -1 calculator here. -169 plus 124 gives you a -120. Here, I'm going to pop it into the chat for those of you whose books don't let you bet -1s, because it's a very good strategy, and the books obviously don't want you to win. You build your own, and there's the -1 calculator for anybody who needs it. Slow Jams Arsenal says, we missed the Twinkies, Jimmy. Easy Cash followed. I fading the Red Sox. Jose broke it down really nicely, and I left money on the table. Money that Pistol Pete Loshak did not leave on the table. Money that Jose did not leave on the table. That kind of irritated me. Okay, so that's the first one. We have a -120 for Moose on the Guardians, and that is the Guardians -1 at -120. Then you want unders, and the stats say the same thing. The stats say that the under is a very likely possibility here. But I felt that same thing about the Tigers game yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
The stats were saying under, but the market wasn't. And that's why I stayed off. That's why I'll stay off here. I won't bet the over. I agree with your breakdown, but I am, it's just the market dictates so much of my decision-making these days. And
yeah, well, and to that point, one thing that I did this as a baseball player, and I definitely applied it as a capper, is if there is an approach that I'm using, I don't just kind of go off of it. I will trust what it is I'm looking at and what it is that I'm seeing until I have a significant sample size, like, 200 at bats or 50 bets or whatever. And then I'll see okay, maybe I really should kind of listen to some of those market moves. Maybe I should but in this situation, I don't really care too much about that. I will absolutely play the number that I see, and it's baseball. I mean, the fact that the Tigers, and that's a great example, because the Tigers absolutely, it looked like it was a great Tigers first 5. It was a good solid under. And none of those are terrible bets in hindsight. I'm not afraid to go right back to the well, because in baseball, you can see a streak happen, or you can see the exact reverse action go right back onto the card. And we saw with the Giants and Twins this last weekend. First game went over, and then the next game went under. It was kind of how I looked at it. And you lose one, you win one. Sometimes that's how it goes.
Yeah. No, I feel that, but I find this market is this would be something we could talk about for 15 or 20 minutes, because in that last game, when I was close to moving on, the one that you're on the full game under 7.5, Astros Rangers, the total is at 7.5, and the first 5's at 3.5.
Yeah.
That's telling me damn, if someone's vulnerable here, the market believes that a second half over could be in play, that the pitchers, by giving the 3.5. Then you have this game, this Orioles Guardians game, and the full line total is just a half run more. It's 8, but the first 5's at 4.5, and it's -106 to the under, or sorry, to the over, -108 to the under. So it's slightly shaded to the under at 4.5 on an 8, and that throws me for a loop when you're studying the market. But statistically, I can completely understand why you're moving the way you are.
Well, and the other point would be how many people are just looking at the bullpen ERA. Because if you look at just the bullpen ERA, if you look at Baltimore, 4.46, but there could be improvement in their 4.12, 4.07. Houston's probably the better example here. 4.35 ERA, and you go, oh, the Houston bullpen has been atrocious, but a 2.62 FIP and a 3.22 xFIP. Those are indicators that a lot of people probably won't dive into and see, like, oh, there's expected improvement here. A lot of the initial reaction is going to be like, oh, their bullpen has been horrendous the last few weeks. 4.35 ERA. I feel pretty comfortable with the bullpen coming in and blowing it. And that's why I do think some of those advanced metrics can be very helpful to be able to see where is improvement going to happen. And I said this on the show last time, the improvement meter that I use for bullpens is the correlation between the ERA and their FIP xFIP. If the ERA is the highest of those three, I expect immediate improvement, and I expect significant improvement depending on the difference between the FIP and the xFIP. If it is the counter, I expect regression, and almost the exact same scenario, I would expect immediate regression based off of what you're seeing with the FIP and the xFIP correlation.
Oh, I love hearing you break down baseball. I will be cheering for you heavy. Big shout out to our guy Jonathan Yim. He's at the X right now, on the Midway at the X, listening to us here at Pub Sports Radio. I was just there on Sunday night, Jonathan, with the fam. Enjoy it, man. Thank you for listening to us. What a great guy he is. And Matty Ice apologizing for the Tigers. Look, Matty Ice, you've never need to apologize ever. You put so much cash in our pocket. You never ever need to apologize, man. We just so thankful to roll with you. And the taint play of the day is in Philly's first 5 plus 100. Says Falter's been pitching well. I like Bailey Falter. I do. And maybe that's going to get in the way of things because Tommy Henry's good too. I can't wait to break that game down. I can't wait to break it down. But there it is. I'm going to copy and paste that. That's the final game on the card for our guy. Matty Ice giving us the taint play of the day. So we have the taint, we have the spreadsheet, we are all good to go, and we do have a triple up from our Moose money bets. Guardians -1 and -120. First 5 under 4.5 -108. Full game under 8 and -102. And why am I not on the Guardians today? And big bets are coming in on the Orioles, and it's a little over half line value, to be honest with you. I would say that's 60% line value. So it's a little more than Pittsburgh. Sorry?
Guardians just aren't hitting for power.
None,
And I mean, that's one of the things that Lyles is he's not necessarily giving up a ton of home runs. So if the Guardians aren't really hitting for power, you're expecting them to be able to string a bunch of hits together. And if that's the scenario, I feel pretty good about an under because now you're talking about you have to get at least 3 hits generally in an inning to be able to cash a few runs.
Yeah, it's well put. The spreadsheet play today is the Braves -1.5. Yeah, just no power. Jay Vegas says, who's ready for college football tomorrow? It is 2 more days, Jay. I know you're pumped up. I know you're so pumped up. But we have 48 hours. 48 hours until college football. But I love it, Jay. I love how pumped up you are. Okay, let's move on to the next spot on the board. 6:40 p.m. Eastern. St. Louis Cardinals 75-55, 33-33 on the road at the Cincinnati Reds 51-77, 27-37 at home. Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, Ohio. Jose Quintana and Mike Minor. Oh, by the way, you guys, for our Cappers contest, not only will I be in it, but my mom will be as well. And we are deciding what penalty we should give to the Cappers that lose to my mom. And that is being considered right now, and it'll be something we talk about on Jose and I's Capper contest show. So just keep that in mind. My mom will be in. She's out for fucking blood. Cardinals, Reds, Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, Ohio. Jose Quintana, Mike Minor. Couple of lefties, couple of aging vet lefties, but clearly going in opposite directions. Saturday says there is college football tomorrow, isn't there? Is there on? I thought we were have our Friday. Did I mess that up? Is there college?
I thought it was this Friday. I'll check it right now.
I'm gonna check it too. Is there Thursday action? Oh, there is. Of course there is. What am I talking about? Central Michigan, Oklahoma State, West Virginia, Pittsburgh.
Oh shit, that's tomorrow.
Oh man, fuck. Jesus, my bad. VMI Wake Forest.
So busy.
Forget VMI Wake Forest. We don't need to pay attention to that. But West Virginia, Pittsburgh, Central Michigan, Oklahoma State. My bad, Jay Vegas. My bad, man. Lots of games tomorrow, says Jay Vegas. My bad. Big Thursday slate. I'm a little caught up and excited about our Dabby Cabin, your Friday show. My bad, Jay Vegas. My fucking bad. My bad. Okay. Oh yeah, and the Volunteers are playing Ball State, right? Is that right?
Yes, Ball State. Yes.
Okay. Let's keep rolling here. My bad, Jay. Okay, what kind of asshole am I? Quintana versus Mike Minor. Let's go to the weather in Great American Ballpark here. First and foremost, we have 82 Fahrenheit, 7.4 miles per hour out to left center, down to 4.8 miles per hour. 82 Fahrenheit drops to 76. So nice offensive weather. Let's move over to the line history in this spot. Shoot, there's pinnacle. Okay, let's, oh, God, too many things open here. Move up to the line history in this Reds spot here, and look at the cash flow. God, come on. What the hell's going on? Sorry, it's taking a second. Fucking annoying. Okay, while that's loading here, let's talk about the cash flow in this spot. Here you go. So I said 2 teams with full line value. And unfortunately, it's always these pigs with the full line value. Mike Minor and the Reds have full line value. 5,913 tickets in, 16% of the tickets, 39% of the cash on the Cincinnati Reds. Then you have 52% of the tickets and 60% of the cash on the over. Let's see if the line history follows suit there. And it does, because there's only been a 2-cent move on the St. Louis Cardinals. So the market not moving towards the Cardinals. From a total perspective, it opened up at 9, and it went to 9.5 in 11 minutes. 11 minutes. Then that under 9.5 started getting bet pretty hard, and it dropped to 9. It dropped to 9 at 8:56 this morning. It lasted at 9 for 5 minutes before it moved back to 9.5. So right now it's up a half run, but it is juiced to the under. Let's move over to the... Oh, we've done the cash flow. So let's just talk quickly about Quintana. Last start, 5 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, 2 of which were earned, 11-4 loss at home versus the Braves. On the road, let's not even... I guess the road is the one split you can talk about, even though he doesn't really have a comfortable home here as he's now with St. Louis after spending most of the year with Pittsburgh. But on the road, 1-2, 5.03 ERA, 287 opponents batting average. Mike Minor has just been terrible, but he's coming off a 7-3 win at Washington where he looked pretty good. 7 innings, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 7 Ks, no walks. He is a vet, and you can expect that, at the 79 inning mark, remember he started the year late because of injury, that maybe he's getting his shit together. Is he capable of shutting down a Cards team that's hitting 266 with an 867 OPS versus lefties? The Reds are hitting 228, 680 OPS versus lefties. There's big show picks in the house. Reds bullpen's been very good last little while. 3.39 ERA, 1.32 whip. Cardinals bullpen, 4.05 ERA, 1.19 whip. Take it away here, Moose. Cardinals, Reds.
Yeah, I really like the over, but I'm not going to play it. I did kind of like the Reds, not going to play them. It's definitely a situation where I was surprised to see that Mike Minor had an expected ERA almost 2 runs lower than his current ERA. So the one thing that I can expect to happen in this game, and I if I found a way to be able to bet it, I would, but I don't have any total hits props for the game. I expect a ton of traffic in this game. That's something that Quintana and Minor have both done very, very consistently, is they've allowed just a ton of traffic. And I'll repeat, excuse me, I'll repeat some of what I said last week when I was on the my Moose call for the Braves team total. There's way too much traffic that Quintana creates, and the better hitting teams against lefties are generally going to cash in when you create traffic, because you just can't hold a team down with runners on base every single game. It just does not happen. You're playing with fire. And Quintana absolutely got hit, 7 hits, 5 innings, 4 runs, 2 of them were earned. But Mike Minor has pitched better last game. I expect better performances moving forward. I really did like the over. I'm not going to play it. I just thought it was a little bit too much. And I could easily see both these pitchers having multiple innings of like many runners on the base pass and nobody scores. I could easily see situations like that because that's baseball, and that's how Quintana has pitched most of the year. He's allowed runners to get into scoring position consistently. They won't score because he'll make a good pitch. He'll get the hitter to get themselves out. So I didn't make a play here. I lean over, but I would not bet it. I don't feel good about seeing Quintana and Minor, their ability to get out, because like you've said, veteran pitchers can deal with base traffic way more effectively than younger pitchers that are trying to go for strikeouts. So I lean over. I would lean Reds, but absolutely not am I going to go up against the Cardinals versus a lefty. That is playing with blue flame rather than just the regular fire that we're playing with on the over.
Yeah, no, I get it. I absolutely get it. I think I'm going to also stay off here with an expectation that Mike Minor could pitch well.
Yeah.
And because of that, I'm going to stay off. Matty Iso, player prop Minor, earned runs over 3.5 at -130. Slatsy says, how many winners in the Cappers point spread contest? Top 10%. Top 10% get paid in the Cappers contest. He wants to make sure that my mom and him can both win money. Yes, we're going to figure out the penalty if you lose to my mom. I look forward to it. There it is. Cardinals, Reds, no move for either of us. You know, with these two on the mound, I guess the Reds aren't okay. The idea that the market isn't moving. So look at the Braves yesterday. Let's go over to this one here.
Mm-hmm.
So here's an example. Sorry. Here we go. Get this up. MLB. Move this over here. So the Braves yesterday, there was a 40-cent move to the Braves yesterday. And they don't take care of business. I guess you can't. What the market is just whatever, just to help guide us into it. But when the Braves go from -320 to -365, I'm sure a lot of people are like, let's use this as a parlay piece. This is going to catch for sure. Here you have the opposite. You have a team that's smashing lefties, who is 20 games over 500, but they're only 500 on the road. Cardinals 33-33 on the road. They don't leave St. Louis and take care of business often. But best bet Braves run line for Lamont Williams. And Jeffrey Blue says, Minor also gets smoked second time through. Last start against Cardinals got smoked first time as well. And Billy Friedrich says, very few Reds hitters have seen Quintana. Not sure if that is an advantage to the Reds or Quintana.
It would be advantage Quintana. Anytime you have fewer at-bats for some pitchers, always going to favor the pitcher.
Agreed. Stella Girl says, penalty for losing to Bags Mom, 24 hours in the Waffle House. And you can subtract 1 hour per waffle eat. Okay, I'm gonna copy and paste that. Okay, I'm gonna copy and paste that right now. Here we go. Okay. All right, let's move on to the next spot on the board here. And that is 6:40 p.m. Eastern. Tampa Bay Rays 71-57, 29-34 on the road at the Miami Marlins, 55-74, 26-37 at home. We're at Lone Depot Park in Miami, Florida. Drew Rasmussen going up against Trevor Rogers. Rasmussen 9-4, 2.77 ERA, 1.07 WHIP, 110 2/3, 99 Ks, 27 walks, 9 home runs. His last start, 8-3 win at home versus the Angels. He goes 5 1/3, 6 hits, 1 earned run. It was a solo shot, 9 Ks and 1 walk. On the road, he's been worse than he's been at home. On the road, 3-3, 3.86 ERA, 274 opponent's batting average. Jacqueline Martin, great to see you. Thank you for joining us. Then we have, is it Trevor Rogers? Is that being confirmed? Trevor Rogers?
I saw it last night, but I didn't see it still posted this morning, so I wonder if they're going something else.
Let me refresh this and see if it is Trevor Rogers here. Because Trevor Rogers is an interesting study here. If we get the opportunity to break him down. Yes, it says Trevor Rogers on RotoWire. I don't know if you guys have it. Gerald Jones, what's happening, my man? And also, we will pick a few of the games in college football to break down tomorrow. I have asked the big Ragu to join us, so we will do some college football on the card tomorrow. There's no Thursday night CFL game tomorrow, and there's no NFL, so we can just go from there. There's Julian Cesario in the house. Great to see you, Julian, my man. Cool to hear your son working with our JPZ. So Rasmussen, Trevor Rogers. Here we go. With Trevor Rogers, 15-day IL for a back issue. So he has lower back spasms. The first 3 rehab starts were really bad. And then he has this start for Jacksonville on Thursday of last week. That's unbelievable. Strikes out 12 and no hits through 6 with 1 walk. And then he said afterwards that he says it's the best he's felt at any point all season long. His last start was awful, but I mean, can we put a line through it? Can we put a line through a lot of his statistics? Because they don't make sense. His last start, 6 earned runs. He looked terrible. Noli No says, yes, it's Rogers coming off dominant performance in minor. Says back. Oh, there it is right there. So at home, 2-6, 7.08 ERA, 310 opponents batting average. Rays versus lefties, 247, 687 OPS. Can't trust them versus lefties like you could last year. Marlins versus righties, 209, 604. That's the worst in the league over the last 30 days. Rays bullpen 3.20 ERA, 1.13 WHIP. Marlins bullpen 4.31 ERA, 1.65 WHIP. Let's take a look first at the line history in this one, and Rasmussen, and they say undecided, but I'm pretty sure it's Rogers. There's been a 7-cent move to the Rays, and there's been a 10 or 11 cent move to the over. So Rays and over. When we take a look at the cash flow here in this one, sorry, I can't. It should say undecided here. Oh, there we go. So they've given full line value to the Marlins. Now, there's only 1,992 tickets in, but listen to this. 10% of the tickets, 56% of the cash is on the Marlins. But then 80% of the tickets and 93% of cash is on the over. And we have seen a 10-cent move to the over. So if you are just studying the market alone, you'd say the market thinks that Rasmussen is vulnerable here. Take it away, Moose, Rays, Marlins.
I would love to know how Rogers felt the day after he pitched, because, I mean, obviously you're going to say you felt great. Your back is the best it's ever been, because you got so much adrenaline. You got so many good vibes going on after you pitch. I mean, having been around pitchers a lot, having been a PO myself, I really think that pitchers can over-embellish when they've performed well, especially if they've performed extremely poorly for an entire season. That all being said, you mentioned off the top, Rogers is an interesting case study because of how well he pitched last year, and then the contrast to what he's done this year. I mean, you just look at what his expected batting averages are versus his pitches, and this year it's up to 263, and that's something that is just ridiculous based off of 223, 218 the years before. His individual pitches, his four-seam fastball has just been getting absolutely torched. Nobody's really biting on his changeup the way that they used to, and his whiff percentage has gone down significantly on his changeup, which was one of his better out pitches. His slider is effective this year, and if he could figure out a way to bring back his changeup to be more effective, and I don't know if it's pitch tipping or if it's one of those situations where a batter is able to see certain things coming out of the hand. A lot of pitchers, when they throw their changeup, you'll see their fingers come up off the ball. And a lot of hitters, if they're trained extremely well, can pick it up if your finger is getting too high up off the ball. Like that little indent above. I mean, I don't do it well because my middle finger's chopped off a little bit. But if you start seeing that finger go up, that can be an indicator to teams that, hey, he's throwing his changeup. And one of the things I've done with pitchers in the past that I feel like their changeup was too recognizable is I'll have them try to go a little bit deeper, but then try to have their fingers just kind of rest on the ball with the expectation as it comes through. You'll have that drag on the ball, but it's not going to be that significant finger straight up. And that might be one of the situations going on with Rogers, because even when you watch the game, you can sometimes see that changeup coming out of his hand. And for a guy that had an elite changeup his first couple of years, that's not something you want to have just your casual, kind of generic pitching coach that's at the high school collegiate level being able to, if he's able to correct that, if he's able to get his changeup to be less recognizable, if he's able to build off of his performance in the minors, I absolutely could see this being a Marlins spot. Those are all a lot of potential hypotheticals that I really don't want to put money on. So I'm going to be off this game, but if somebody wants to be on the Marlins here, I'm not going to argue against them. If somebody wants to do the under, I'm not going to argue against them. I don't really like the over here, and I really don't think this is a raise spot at -175.
I hear that. There's Diesel Eugene in the house. Great to see you. I hear that. I guess you just can't trust Miami's offense to do anything. Why would I sit here? I mean, seeing all this money on the over and a move towards the over, it makes me think if I had a free bet, I would make it. But I don't know if you can trust this offense. And I like what was said by you also in the chat about, of course, he's going to say, he's feeling better than he has all year. I mean, numbers are atrocious, and he wants to get back in the big leagues. Okay, so this would be an over bet, though. I would think that Rogers will be vulnerable here, even though he's lights out at AAA in his last start. And I think Rasmussen is vulnerable. What is Rasmussen's numbers against this squad? Let me, before I decide to, this will be the final thing, and then it will move past it. By the way, Gunnar Henderson is being called up by the O's, the young shortstop. So that will be really, really fun to see him. Maybe give that team a little spark. When I'm looking at the wild card standings, and I said this, weeks ago, I don't see anybody pushing the Rays, Mariners, and Jays in the American League. I don't. You're like, well, one team's got to get hot. I even thought that. I was like, well, always one team gets hot, but I don't see any of them doing anything here. Against Rasmussen, they have 10 at bats.
Yeah. Extremely low sample size.
Okay, I'm not going to move on. Okay, let's move on. And Joe, you're saying Rays 16-6 and Rasmussen starts. Okay, that's Rays, Marlins. Let's move on to 7:05 p.m. Eastern. Oakland Athletics 49-81, 27-38 on the road at the Washington Nationals, 43-86, 20-47 at home. We're at Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. We will start with the weather in D.C. 79 Fahrenheit, 6.6 miles per hour left to right. Dies down to 5.5, so weather is a non-issue. Let's take a look at the cash flow and the line history in this one. Caprillion versus Anibal Sanchez. When I first saw this matchup, and I have not looked look now at the line, but the first thing I thought was when pitchers like these two match up and you look at these and you're like, these guys are bums. It always feels like sharps are on the under in a situation like this, and we'll see if that's the case here. There's been a 3-cent move to the Washington Nationals, and this total opened up at 8.5. And just like I thought, it did drop to 8. It dropped 8, and then an hour and a half ago, it came back to 8.5. That does not surprise me. It just feels like that kind of a situation always, especially with some of these A's pitchers, Caprillion being one of them that's loved by the Sharps. 2,673 tickets in, 46% of tickets and 56% of cash on Anibal Sanchez, whom we expect is in the last 6 or 4 weeks, let's say, of his career. Then we have 65% of tickets and 66% of cash on the under. Matty Ice says he is on the Nationals here. Caprillion last start was ugly. 2 2/3, 7 hits, 8 earned runs, 2 Ks and 6 walks in the 13-4 loss at home versus the Yankees. On the road, he's been quite a bit better than he's been at home. 4.08 ERA, 233 opponent's batting average. Then you have Anibal Sanchez. He's 0-5 with a 5.72 ERA and 1.40 WHIP. He's allowed 11 home runs in 39 1/3. His last start was his best start of the year. The Sharps were on him. They win 3-1 at Seattle. He goes 4 1/3, allows 2 hits and no earned runs. He started 4 games at home this year, and he's been destroyed. He's a 7.65 ERA in 20 innings, 15 Ks, 10 walks, and 7 home runs allowed in 20 innings. A's versus righties, 226.39 OPS. Nats versus righties, 251, 682 OPS. And both bullpens are a little below average. A's bullpen, 3.98 ERA, 1.28 WHIP over the last 30, while the Nats bullpen, 3.93 ERA, 1.32 WHIP over their last 30. Break this down. I can't wait to hear it. Moose, take it away. A's, Nats.
Well, I am going to be one of those guys that I am on the full game under. I do like Caprillion. I've talked about him a couple of times. I know I talked about him once on your show, Jimmy, but you look at his pitches and what teams are able to do against everything other than his fastball. His slider, 188, 187, 224, 239 for his curve, 333, but 284 on his changeup, which he doesn't throw nearly as much. So when you're seeing his slider and curveball still being effective, it is a little weird when you look at his slider curve. His slider getting a 34.9 whiff percentage, his curveball only getting a 14.7 whiff percentage. But he is throwing the slider more than the curve, 22% compared to 13%. If he's able to start throwing his slider for strikes, if he's able to get ahead of hitters, but you mentioned it, his walks can be a bit of an issue. 11.2 walk percentage this year, and that is not great. But last year it was only 8.2. So I don't think it's going to be a situation where it continues to get worse. I would absolutely expect him to find a way to keep the walks in check. But if he's walking guys, this under is going to go over really quick. Anibal Sanchez on the other side, he's just a soft tossing machine. I mean, he just gets soft contact. He's able to get hitters to get themselves out. Yeah, all the stuff ain't great, but his expected ERA is lower, and how he's pitched against lefties has been phenomenal this year. 0.92 whip, and Oakland does have a bunch of lefties. They will be throwing out quite a few lefties in this lineup. I did like the Nationals, but the bullpens are what kind of really pulled me into this full game under. I would love to have a conversation and hear the chat about the first 5 and see what everybody's talking about. But Washington, since beginning of not at the beginning of the month, but since the 15th of August, they were ranked second in baseball in ERA. They have a 2.03 ERA, 3.08 FIP, and a 2.94 xFIP. Their bullpen has absolutely been outstanding. Oakland, 3.53 ERA, 3.26 FIP, a 4.62 xFIP. So I definitely expect their bullpen to have a little bit of light regression here moving forward. But I really do like the under, and I did take the under here. I would like to see what the chat is saying about a potential first 5. I'd love to hear what you're thinking about a first 5, because this is one of those games where you make one bet and then you want to see how others are kind of reacting to that, as well as what discussions are going on. So I do open it up to the chat and would love to hear their opinions on a first 5, but I am on full game under.
Well, Space Guard Ghostman is saying that Sanchez is going to throw a no tonight.
Ooh, I like that.
I like this look on the under. I like this look. I'm going to use the full game, and I don't want to double up, personally. Wu Rizza also likes the under. We have players on both sides of the fence. We've already heard Matty Ice on the Nats. And then you have Ronnie and Bergie saying A's smash, and Nasty Nate saying A's are the play. I don't feel – and Stimmy OG is on the over, which does make me nervous. But
yeah.
Space Guard Ghostman says Anibal Sanchez settled down, so is Caprillion. He's only been hit with power teams like the Yankees. I like the opportunity for Caprillion to bounce back. And bet that with Jay says, got to say Oakland first 5 and over 8.5. I like the first or the full game under 8.5. I have no problem with the first 5 under as well. I've liked what I've seen from these two bullpens. I also like the weather for the pitchers. You know, I love that. Well, actually, what am I talking about? Let's ask you about that. Is this an advantage when you have 6 to 10 mile per hour winds going across the diamond for the pitchers? Does that add movement to their stuff, or is it not enough?
It would be advantage to the right-handed hitters, because if you hit the ball, you're generally going to have that nice little. I'm not sure if it's a fade or a draw. I'm not a golf term, but like as a lefty, because I do hit lefty, throw righty. When you hit a ball really well, you're going to see that kind of tail that goes a counter to the wind direction. So if you're righty, it's going to go with that. So if it does hit a little jet stream, you can have some extra mileage put on the ball. But you said 8 to 10.
Well, this one's 6, but I was just curious because I've always thought that with the crosswind that it might help the movement of the pitchers.
Oh, yeah, and that 8 to 10, not necessarily. You need to get into the 15-mile-an-hour range. That's generally where you're going to see the ball flight start to change and start to shift. I do like the headwinds coming as a pitcher, but I was a changeup pitcher, so I really liked when I was able to get a little bit more velocity taken off of the ball, and a headwind will give you a little bit more dramatic movement and dramatic drop because of how it changes the spin and the physics of the ball. But do not ask me physics questions. My knowledge of science and numbers is very much limited to being able to see if a number is high or low. So it's not going to be a science class here. All I can tell you is headwind is a little bit better than the crosswind. If you're using crosswind, you're much more of a slider breaking ball pitcher like Caprillion is. So if it was going to favor a pitcher, it would favor Caprillion, but you want that wind velocity, or that wind knottage, or however you measure wind. I'm not a meteorologist either. A lot of things I'm not, Jimmy. A lot of things I'm not.
I like it.
But I do think it helps. It does help Caprillion a little bit, but I do like the under.
I like it too. I'm going to roll right with you on that. Jay Vegas says Jays to not make the playoffs plus 625. Says don't kill the messenger. Jay, I cannot believe the percentage the Jays have to make the playoffs. 93.6 right now. I'm shocked at it from the eye test. But the schedule is pretty soft. And who's going to come take it from them? I think it comes down to that. I guess the only team that I could see to come take it. Now, what the Orioles just picked up Jesus Aguilar and have Gunnar Henderson coming up, and maybe that gives them a boost. I guess it would be the Twins, though, would be the only team that, if the Guardians keep succeeding. But I just, I don't see how, Jay, but I get it. Eye test, they just don't look like Dennis Garcia says, they're a flawed baseball team. Okay, we have a under 8.5 in Oakland, Washington from Moose. Let's move on to the Cubs Blue Jays. Speaking of it, Jay Vegas, perfectly done. Let's go. Sky Dragon says so tempted to take the Jays to miss the playoffs. Well, those last 3 games of the year against the Yankees, one of the problems here is that could be meaningless games. Those could be meaningless games for the Yankees. There's if you look at the schedule, it's set up pretty nice. The Yankees they're not going to care at all, but they do want their rotation to be normal. Billy Friedrich does have the Jays to not make the playoffs from the preseason plus 215. Okay, here we go. Toronto, Ontario, Rogers Center. Let's start with the weather in Toronto. Hey, sweetheart, I'm in the middle of something. Okay, yes. Okay, wait, okay. Sorry, you guys. Again, studio with the door starting Tuesday. 74 Fahrenheit, 13.4 miles per hour left to right, and then comes in, but windy, and the roof will be open. Then we'll go into the line history of this Jays Cubs spot. This has been a good series for the Jays. One they needed badly start turning things around. Why can't I? What's wrong with me? It's an interleague game. Why don't they have this? Oh, this is going to make me hate this site. Okay, they don't have the line history here. Oh, that pisses me off. I will go to a different site to get the line history. Let's go to the cash flow here in the Jays game. I guess because the Cubs have not – I thought it was going to be Luke Farrell and a bullpen day.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Yeah. I'm
still expecting that. Noli says the door is not stopping her. Did I forget to mention a door with a lock? I'm still expecting Luke Farrell in the bullpen day from the Chicago Cubs. Farrell will not pitch long because his last start was on the 24th. It was last Wednesday. His last appearance was just on Sunday. He went 2 2/3. So he's going an inning max, and I expect a bullpen day. And then we have Mitch White. So when the Dodgers didn't want Stripling, I trusted the Dodgers and faded Stripling often, and he was pretty good, and he's probably been better than pretty good this year. I feel the same way about Mitch White. I feel that Mitch White is they've all talked about in LA. It's not my own feeling that you don't let him pitch more than 75 pitches, but he's not looked good in Toronto. In Toronto, he's got a 5.89 ERA, 1.69 whip in 18 and a third inning, 7 walks in 18 and a third innings. His last start, that 12-0 loss at home versus the Angels, 5 innings, 8 hits, 7 earned runs, 1 homer, 5 Ks, 3 walks. You know, he's a California guy, I believe. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not happy. You know, he's probably wanted to pitch for the Dodgers and was so excited. And now he's up here in Canada, and maybe he's not happy. I don't trust him. Cubs versus righties last 30, 234, 690 OPS. Blue Jays versus righties 242, 677 OPS. Nasty Nate says, answer a damn question. She stopped asking it because my wife had the answer to the question. But thank you for caring, Nasty Nate. Cubs bullpen 5.180 ERA, 1.42 whip over last 30. Terrible. Blue Jays bullpen is starting to come back and start pitching poorly again. We don't trust them. I'm going to get the line history off of a different site, but take it away here, Moose, Cubs, Blue Jays.
Yeah, it really, a lot of this is based off of what I was watching in that game versus the Angels, because I was definitely all over the Blue Jays in that game. And right out the gates, you could tell that something wasn't right. And I hadn't seen, full disclosure, I hadn't seen Mitch White pitch as a Blue Jay prior to that in his 3 starts before that, which weren't bad. It's just like you said, he doesn't really go deep into the game. The Blue Jays bullpen has been decent. I really like Romano. I forget who said it, but one of the things about getting to Jordan Romano is you have to have a lead for him to be able to come in and do what he's supposed to do. 3.10 ERA, 4.32 FIP, 3.67 xFIP. So kind of that weird relationship where the FIP is higher than the ERA and the xFIP. So it can kind of be difficult to understand or assess what's going to happen with the Blue Jays bullpen moving forward. The one thing you can count on, though, is that the Chicago bullpen has been there's got to be a nice way to say at least they've been trying. Yeah, at least they've been trying. At least they've been trying. They've got a 5.95 ERA, 6.14 FIP, a 4.46 xFIP. But I think the fact that the ERA and the FIP are just the fact that there's that high tells me there's no reason to think that they won't continue to struggle. The only thing I would look at here would be a Blue Jays team total. I wouldn't want to count on the Cubs to necessarily be a contributor to the runs, although I could absolutely see it. The Cubs versus right-handed pitching, it hasn't been great, though. 74 weighted runs created plus, minus 13.2 weighted runs above average, 203 average. So I would think that you should only isolate the Blue Jays on a team total. I don't really feel comfortable doing it. You never know what happens, but if I heard that it was a better number at 4.5, I would take it, but I highly doubt that it's there. I kind of just looked at this game, made that quick assessment, and moved off.
Yeah, it's going to be too high. It's 5.5.
Oh, yeah, forget that. Nope, I don't do 5.5s.
I stay away from team totals on favorites unless it's the Dodgers. That's the one thing. A big shout out to Dan Bonner, back in action with us. Says, miss you, man. Been way too long since I've been able to tune in. It's great to see you, Dan Bonner. Thank you for rolling with us, man. We miss you as well. Yeah, I think the Cubs are vulnerable here. It's too bad that the wind is not helpful, but I cannot. So this is a total listed at 9.5.
Yeah, no, I would just be off. I mean, the only look I would have is, and I don't think I try to do it that way, but I think you are correct. More often than not, the team totals I'm going to play are from the dog, where you get that better team total. Absolutely. I don't really even think of it that way, but probably should. But this is like my first year MLB cap, so I'm still learning. Absolutely, still full disclosure, still kind of learning and growing and getting better at this. And sometimes things like that just happen, and I'm glad to say that has been a trend that I've been on more than the others, taking the dog as the team total. But if in this situation, the only over or bet I would look at would be a Blue Jays team total. But I don't really like to do 5.5s at all. 6 runs, that's a lot.
Well, the Jays are gonna, get a lead, and next thing you know, Kikuchi could be out there. Like, if the Jays get a big lead, they're gonna empty the bullpen, and I think this is an over regardless of the win. And I'm not. It's not because I think that Mitch White is going to have a bad start necessarily. I wouldn't surprise me if there's a bit of a bounce back start. The problem is the Jays don't play tomorrow. Damn. I was hoping that they played tomorrow but maybe they want to give a couple days off. Joe Irving says pass game. Maybe it is a pass game. Damn, I wish the Jays were playing tomorrow so the bums would come in if they had the lead.
Yeah. Yeah, because they can probably go to Romano for a few extra. Did he pitch yesterday? He did, didn't he? He got a save. Yeah, he did. He got a save yesterday. So I don't know how much availability he has, especially given his repertoire and how hard he throws. But if there's a day off tomorrow, I could easily see him being available today. Which that given what the Blue Jays need to do for playoffs hope, you have to get these wins. You have to be able to get the wins when they're there. Something certain teams aren't doing.
Yeah, I'm going to study the over a little bit more, but I'm leaning towards the over. Senka in the house. Is any CFL picks? Yes, Senka. Yes, I moved on the Edmonton Elks. First half +7, full game +12.5. I'm shocked at this line. Before Calgary went into Edmonton and beat them by 45 points, which is obviously going to be fresh in Chris Jones' memory. Before that, the dog had covered in 9 of 10 or something like that, like a huge, and all these one-score games. And the Elks are good on the road; they're terrible at home. I'm shocked at this line, and I just don't think it's. I think when we're here on Friday, I expect that to be 10. At kickoff, I expect it to be 9.5. Bo Jackson says, why sweat the over? Take the Jays money line and the Astros under 7.5. Billy Friedrich says Blue Jays 0-10 first 5, last 10 at home. Jesus, Billy, I didn't realize that. Okay,
really?
Well,
whoa.
Yeah, I did not realize that. The Cubs, one thing that and I just have this vividness bias is there used to be times where, last year and the year before when a team with a terrible bullpen would have a bullpen day. And I'd be like, look at their bullpen numbers. They're atrocious. Of course I'm going to be on the over. And my ROI was terrible. That shouldn't it's just in my head right now, but I'm interested in going over or taking the Jays to just take care of business here. But I don't trust Mitch White at all. And so I think the over is the spot, but 9.5 is high. It's going to take me a little bit more time. So let's move on to 7:10 p.m. Eastern. The Los Angeles Dodgers now 90-38. God, what a baseball team. At the New York Mets, 82-48. I mean, these are two spectacular ball clubs. The Dodgers are 23 games over 500 on the road. The Mets are 22 games over 500 at home. We're at Citi Field in Queens, New York. Tyler Anderson versus Jacob deGrom. Start with the weather at Citi Field. 81 Fahrenheit, 9.1 miles per hour left to right. It starts coming in after a little while, down to 6.1 miles per hour at the end of the game. Let's go over to the line history in this one. Sorry, let's pull this up here. My apologies. Here we go. The line history. Oh, my God. Okay, here we go. Dodgers line history. Anderson, deGrom. There has been a 25-cent move to Jacob deGrom in the New York Mets. And we see that every deGrom start. 25-cent move towards the Mets. And this total is, there's been a 2-cent move to the over. Now, it opened at 6.5 minus 118. It's now 6.5 at minus 120. Let's move over to the cash flow in this one. They have a tiniest sliver, 1% of line value on the Dodgers. 5,245 tickets in, 62% of tickets, 52% of the cash on the Dodgers. Then 73% of tickets, 97% of cash on the under. A ton of cash on the under, and that line not moving. Tyler Anderson's last start was good. 5 1/3, 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned, 4 Ks, 2 walks, and 10-6 extra inning win at the Marlins. It was good, but the Marlins can't hit lefties at all. On the road, he's been worse than he's been at home. 6-2, 3.17 ERA, 235 opponent's batting average. Jacob deGrom last start, 6 innings, 1 earned run, solo shot, 9 Ks, 1 walk, and a 3-1 win at home versus Colorado. This guy's been unbelievable. 46 strikeouts in 29 1/3, 46 strikeouts and 2 walks at home, 3-0 with a 1.53 ERA, and the opponent's hitting 102 off him. Unbelievable. Dodgers versus lefties, 266, 753 OPS. Mets just 222, 660. And the Dodgers bullpen has been so good last 30, 2.13 ERA, 0.81 whip, while the Mets have struggled, 4.23 ERA, 1.41 whip. Take it away for us here, Moose, Dodgers, Mets.
I believe this is the perfect spot for a patented. This game will be a beauty. I really like the Mets and Dodgers here tonight. I think it's going to be a great game. It's really tough to bet because the Mets do have the worst bullpen. The Dodgers have the better bullpen. The Mets have the better starting pitcher. The Dodgers have the lesser starting pitcher. I would love to find a way to be on and under here. The Mets have not hit lefties at all recently. They got a 79 weighted runs created plus a 195 batting average against left-handed pitchers. And the Dodgers versus right, who cares what the Dodgers do against right-handed pitchers? It's Jacob goddamn deGrom. Like, the dude is an absolute stud. If you can,
oh yeah, sorry, I apologize. I gave Dodgers numbers versus lefties. I don't know what I was doing there. My apologies. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, well, it's pretty, like I was saying, it's pretty irrelevant what the Dodgers or any team has done against right-handed pitchers because Jacob deGrom is in his own class of pitchers. I mean, you can put it on the board of who's the best pitcher of all time. I think, and reasonably so, Jacob deGrom's name will get thrown into the mix. It's tough to think that the Dodgers team total could be a look. I've heard from some really smart cappers that that's something that they're looking at. It would be more of a fade going against the Mets bullpen, that if the Mets bullpen does get in there, it's not a bullpen that has been successful recently. 4.86 ERA, 4.17 xFIP. So it's just a matter of how much of that bullpen is going to pitch. How much are the Mets willing to let deGrom go out there and dominate a Dodgers team that they very well can see in the playoffs? If this was an NLCS preview, I wouldn't be shocked. If this exact matchup happens in the NLCS and the NLDS, I think it have to be the NLCS. I would not be surprised at all. I think this is one of those games where you can absolutely see the playoff atmosphere take over in Citi Field because those Met fans really want to make sure that they can establish themselves as an opponent to the Dodgers. I would love to see Domingo in the chat right now talk about how much it would be nice to be able to beat the Dodgers and prove that we have the best pitcher in baseball. And if we match up against you guys in the playoffs, you guys better be shaking in your boots because we have the pitching staff to go up against you with Scherzer and deGrom. It's just, what will that bullpen do? I'm excited to watch this game. I absolutely have this game on the DVR. I will be paying attention to this in some way, shape, or form. But where is my money on it? No, it would probably be on the under, if anything. But I could easily see the Dodgers getting some runs. They were able to hit Sandy Alcantara the first time, not so much the second time. I just think this is one of those great games to watch. And as you like to say, it's going to be an absolute beauty.
I want to move on the first 5 under 3.5 here. I'm surprised it's 3.5. Should that make me nervous that it's 3.5? 97% of the tickets are on the under. I kind of, with the way the Dodgers can hit and the Mets bullpen, and you just feel like I get why some people would like the full game over 6.5. Why is this not moved to 3? Is my question. It's under 3.5 to minus 125. Let's see what Pinnacle is hanging that first 5. Why are you not on the first 5 under 3.5 if the Mets can't hit lefties and DeGrom is DeGrom?
It's something I'm looking at it, and it's the Dodgers. It's a great question because I don't have an answer, and I really should be. And I think this was one of those games where I looked at it and go, "Oh, this is just going to be a great game to watch." And unfortunately, that was the mindset that I took into it. Because you are right. I think first 5. Noli just said it. Yeah, I think 3.5 is going to have to go on the card. I think it's just.
I don't think the 3.5 is going to be here.
I think it's going to go
3
on.
hours. It's minus 126 at Pinnacle. It's minus 125 at Bet365. I'm going to move on it.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna join you. I'm taking that as well. Once you ask that question, it's like, why the hell am I not on that first 5? Because I was looking at it last night, and I got obsessed with that whole. Oh, this is going to be a great game. And even when I came out and talking to you, it was just like that was the first thing I want to talk about. How great a game it is. It was like I somehow neglected the whole capping aspect of this game. And first 5, 3.5, absolutely. I fucking DeGrom. So yeah, I'm gonna join that. I'm gonna do that too. So that's gonna be something I bet today.
And Mike M says, "Oh no, don't do it." B-Lab says, "After that full game under yesterday, I'm a little nervous about that under today too." B-Lab, I'll tell you, the biggest change in my capping in MLB was not speaking about what happened yesterday. And I started that last year, and I had a huge change. I started winning in baseball, which is a really difficult thing to do over a full year. So I'm not saying that that's what you need to do, but I'm just saying that helped me enormously. I don't care what happened yesterday. I don't look at it. I don't pay attention to it. I mean, I follow the games, but I don't care. And if it gets in my head, I talk about that in my head, get it out of my head. I'm going to bet this while the show's going on. I do not think it's going to be available. Let's see if Circa will get you a better number because it's minus 126 at Pinnacle, which is a sign to me that it won't be available.
It's not available on the book. I'm literally going to bet it right now, and I have 3s at plus money. I'd have to build it at a minus 120 something.
Let's see what it is here. It's 3.5 minus 118 here, so that's the best we can get you.
That's
We're gonna give you that's at Circa. Okay, all right. Okay, I'm gonna have to make a move here while the show's going on. R2D2 on the under 6.5. Okay, let's roll. Next up, we have 7:10 p.m. Eastern, Seattle. Oh, look at that. First 3 under 2 is available, too. Jesus. Let's take a look at that. Sorry. Let's see what that is for me. What an interesting idea, Joe. Take it to 3 innings. Yeah, I got 1.5 at plus 105. What did you get that 2 at? Minus 115? That's a thing of beauty. Oh, man. If I was in Vegas, I would make a big bet on that, and what you're looking for 18 outs, baby. Freak out after each out. Fuck, man. I remember the most. I was so drunk and excited. I was also tripping balls on Zoom, so I was so excited about the prison fight, the prison champ, Clifford Etienne. Going up, this Clifford 10, right? That's the prison champ's name. Going up against Tyson. We got 8-1 on the prison champ. I was like, Tyson could bite his face. We were so excited. We pooled our money. Like, this is a long time ago. We drove in from LA. We pooled our money, and all we came up with was $365. We put $365 on Etienne, and we were like, oh, we were so pumped up. And Tyson knocked him out in about 30 seconds. And that was the end of our glory. Okay, we move on to Mariners, Tigers. Mariners 71-58, 36-30 on the road. Detroit Tigers 50-79, 29-36 at home. Comerica Park in Detroit, Michigan. Marco Gonzalez going up against Tyler Alexander, two lefties on the hill. Let's take a look at the line history right on. Actually, let's go to the weather. Let's go to the weather in Detroit first. In 80 Fahrenheit, 12.5 miles per hour to left field. Goes from 12.5 to 10.4 miles per hour. We have a 8-cent move to the Tigers. An 8-cent move to the Tigers here, or 7 cents for them, 8 on the Mariners side of things. But a move towards Tigers. We go over to the total. We have an 8.5 minus 109 to the under. So a 2-cent move to the over. So sorry, just to remind myself of that when we look at the cash. 2-cent move to the over, an 8-cent move to the Tigers. 2-cent move to the over, 8-cent move to the Tigers. Let's go over to the cash flow in the Seattle, Detroit. And we have slight line value to Detroit, 4,589 tickets in. And listen to this. Here we go. 23% of the tickets on the Tigers and 79% of the cash. Then you have 65% of tickets and 91% of the cash on the over. When I see the over here, it makes, or money coming in on the over, it makes me always nervous to make a bet on the game because I just think the volatility is obviously increased. If I don't want an over in that game, I generally don't want to be involved in it because it seems like it's just they're expecting the unexpected. Marco Gonzalez last start was very nice. It was against McKenzie, 3-1 win at home. He was in control after the first inning. All 4 runs were scored in that first inning of that game. 6 innings, 4 hits, no earned run, or 1 earned run, 4 Ks. On the road, he's been worse than he's been at home, and that wasn't the case. Marco Gonzalez not looked good on the road lately. 3-7, 4.60 ERA, 306 opponent's batting average. Tyler Alexander, on the other hand, 2-3 at home with a 3.53 ERA, 261 opponent's batting average. He's much better at home, and he was bad last out, 7-6 loss at Texas. Mariners 237-13 OPS versus lefties. Tigers versus lefties 252, 609 OPS. And then you have a Mariners bullpen. This Tigers bullpen's fallen apart over the last 30 days. A 5.22 ERA, 1.42 whip, while the Mariners bullpen 2.61 ERA, 0.92 whip. Take it away here for us, Moose, Mariners, Tigers.
Yeah, a really difficult game because I agree. I think you just hit it right off the top of the head. This game has a lot of volatility in it. I really did want to get on the over, but a lot of it was because of Gonzalez. A lot of it was because of Alexander and how that Mariners are hitting lefties. You know, they are also hitting lefties on the road, something that really wasn't the case earlier in the year for the Mariners. But on the road versus lefties, they are over 110 weighted runs created plus. The Tigers versus left-handed pitchers, 24th in the league since the 15th of August, 91 weighted runs created plus, minus 2.3 runs above average, 666 OPS. But Gonzalez has been able to create offense on his own. 287 expected batting average, 307, 309, and a 239 expected batting average on his pitches. It is reasonable to assume that you can expect hits in base runners in more Marco Gonzalez games than not. I really wanted to try to find a way to be on the Tigers, and yesterday was the exact same type of situation. A Tiger pitcher that pitched much better at home, a player that I thought might have some success, even though the Mariners have been able to hit lefties. It was just this is kind of one of those games where I'm like, I'm just going to have to end up passing on this. I really wish I would have been able to get on a better number for an over, but as that total started trickling up, I do think the Tigers could be the live spot here. But I really don't want to test the Mariners going up against lefties. I thought there might be a discrepancy versus lefties on the road, but they, again, like I just said, they are hitting lefties on the road as well as they are hitting at home. So this was a pass for me. Volatility is the exact word that you use for this game. There just seems like there's way too much volatility for this game and possibly this series, because yesterday was another spot that I thought was a clear Tiger spot, and it turned out not to be so.
Yeah. And the last 2 starts by Marco have been good. It was so his last road start was at Oakland, and it was good. That's a pitcher's ballpark against a team that can't hit lefty or lefties a little tiny bit. But his last 2 starts on the road before that were at Texas that hit lefties hard and at the Yankees that hit lefties hard. And he allowed 11 runs in 10 1/3. I mean,
for what it's worth, Marco Gonzalez is one of the lowest spin rates in baseball, and shout out to the spin doctor. That's one of the things he definitely hones in on. Are guys that don't have that higher spin rate. I mean, his spin rate is around 2,000 RPMs, and that's one of the lowest you're going to see in baseball for any pitch. I mean, his fastball is 1979 rotations per minute. His curveball, which is supposed to be his best spin rate, 2,104 rotations per minute. I don't really want to back too many guys that have really low spin rate and also give up contact. If it was weaker contact, I'd be way more about Marco Gonzalez. And he does have times where he can be very good with his hard hit percentage, 61st percentile in the league. But when it goes bad, those spin rate guys, like if they don't have it, like it just goes south so quickly. I mean, it just unbelievably quick. So if he is able to have a good game, I absolutely could see the under. I think that his recent performances could lead you to believe that there's not going to be a ton of hard hitting. The Tigers haven't been crushing the ball recently, especially versus left-handed pitching. But if it goes south with Gonzalez, it goes south very quickly.
Yeah. You know, the issue for me here is that you have 91% of cash on the over, and Pinnacle's offering it with almost no VIG.
Yeah.
You want to pay big VIG, it's going to be the under. And if they're going to make it that easy for cappers to bet the over, well, I'm not going to do it. I want my bets to correlate in a way where, you know, the books don't want it on that side. I want almost all of my action to be in that case, unless there's an angle that I sincerely believe in. Here, I don't want to ever be on a bet where the books are like, here you go, no VIG, enjoy. Like it's so. Billy Friedrich on Tigers, first 5 here. Robert Franklin says sneaky over 8.5. Look, 91% of the cash is on that sneaky over 8.5, which makes it not that sneaky. And here, it's just not juiced. I just also like look at Bet365. So Bet3, it's a pick 'em either way. No, that's more appealing than when Pinnacle is juiced to the under.
Yeah, and I agree with what Space Guard is talking about with, you're only going to trust Anibal. The reason that I wouldn't be on Marco here is very much that he's just not exactly the veteran that Anibal Sanchez is. I mean, yeah, Gonzalez has been in the league since 2015. Yeah, and that can give you some kind of veteran status. But you're talking about a guy that's been in the league for almost 20 years. So I would trust the guy to be able to he has learned quite a bit more things than a guy that's only been in the league for 7. Again, not a mathematician. I think it's 7 years.
And Space Guard says, and La Tortuga Astadio. Tortuga, I stayed at the Tortuga Hotel in Bocas del Toro when I was down, because you have to leave Costa Rica every 3 months, right, to stay living there. Bocas del Toro is fucking magic there, man. Bocas del Toro, if you ever get a chance to get there, it's just fucking unbelievable. Okay, Mariners, Tigers, no moving for me. Are you staying off of it?
Yeah, I'm staying off. And to answer Razor's question, I will absolutely make sure I kind of just check. Baseball Savant, they do have a little clip up in the right-hand corner that can kind of show you the guys that have really bad spin rate. So if you see a bright blue, you're like, okay, well, I might want to check and see what this guy's metrics are looking at pitch to pitch. So to answer his question, I will at least give a cursory glance to what a pitcher's spin rate is, because I think it's something to at least consider. Not necessarily make a bet off of, but it's definitely something you should look into to see what kind of pitcher you're dealing with. A guy that's a big whiff and strikeout guy, or a guy that's a soft contact, soft tosser type guy.
I get it. I absolutely get it. Joe Uri said Seattle providing consistent offense lately. Detroit scoring well lately. These pitchers not great. Good weather. I'm on the overs.
Yeah, there you go.
I will cheer you on. All right, let's move on. 7:20 p.m. Eastern. Colorado Rockies 56-74, 20-42 on the road at the Braves. 79-51, 42-25 at home. Truist Park in Atlanta, Georgia. Ryan Feltner going up against Kyle Wright, the 5th overall pick out of Vandy in 2017. He looks very, very good right now. This guy is an absolute top of the rotation stud. His last start, 14-2 win at Pittsburgh, 7 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs, 8 Ks, and 1 walk. Jack Rosenblatt in the house. Great to have you, Jack. Going up against Ryan Feltner, who is being bad. Home, road, doesn't matter, but he's coming off a nice start. 3-1 loss at the Mets. He goes 4 2/3, allows 3 earned runs, 2 Ks, 2 walks. Now, that's a nice start for him. Feltner on the road, 6.19 ERA, 308 opponent's batting average. Kyle Wright, his splits are nothing to worry about. Doesn't matter where he is, home road, you can count on him. Rockies versus righties, 258, 669 OPS, while the Braves, 265, 70 OPS. Rockies bullpen bad, 5.34 ERA, 1.50 whip. Braves bullpen can be counted upon, 3.47 ERA, 1.34 whip over the last 30. All those stats, of course, are the last 30. Let's take a look at the weather first here in this one. 85 Fahrenheit, 6.4 miles per hour out, drops to 5.5. Let's go over to the line history in this one. Feltner versus Wright. And here we go. There has been, unlike yesterday, there has been a move to the dog. The Rockies opened at plus 278. They're now at plus 269. They did get down to as low as plus 261. Now they're at plus 269. So a slight move to the Rockies and a move to the under. Opened at 8.5, lasted there till 8:30 this morning when it dropped to 8. So move to the under and a move to the dog. Let's see what they're saying here. They're saying that 33% line value on the Colorado Rockies, 14% of the tickets, 35% of the cash, and then 47% of the tickets, 67% of cash on the under. On the under. And what was the and the total one from 8.5 to 8. Take it away for us here, Moose. Rockies, Braves.
I really wanted to get on a Rockies team total under. Their numbers away from Coors are absolutely horrific. They are the worst in baseball versus right-handed pitching on the road. They have 35. So they have a weighted runs created plus that is younger than I am. And they have a ISO that is 0.049. So they're not even cracking 100 on their ISO. They're not even cracking 50 on their ISO. It's just juice to holy hell. So I wasn't able to get on any kind of under 2.5, but that was absolutely something that I was looking at. If the price has gotten better, I'll definitely take another look at it. But that was the only way I feel like I could go in this game. It's going to be tough to pay for a Braves run line. I think that I saw that it was minus 160. If you're gonna do anything, you're probably putting the Braves in a parlay piece, which I don't hate. But it's just tough to get your money onto this game the way you'd want it because the Braves are just priced out of any kind of ticket that you might want. So the closest I got was the Rockies team total under. I didn't bet it. It felt like it was going to be juiced. I think I would have had to take the 2, and that was not something I really wanted to do because, I mean, you can always scratch out a run or two, especially late if you have a runner on third, less than 1 out, and the Braves are just going to concede a run and say, hey, look, you can have that. We got the victory here. Do what you need to do. I did like the Rockies team total under, but I didn't play it. It's just juice. But Rockies away from Coors, absolute fade. If you can get any kind of under on them, take it. But this is not the spot for a full game under because the Braves can absolutely mash Feltner.
Yeah, I agreed. Well put. This does not interest me from a gambling perspective. Let's move on to 7:40 p.m. Eastern. Boston Red Sox 62-68 now, 6 games under 500. The Minnesota Twins 67-61, 40-28 at home. Diesel Eugene said, just put on Mike Minor under 4.5K. Says, I think the Cards tee off. That's our guy, Diesel, in the house. We miss you, Diesel. And Abel A. Braves money line with Dodgers plus 2.5 alternate run line in a parlay. Okay, Waka Flocka. I came very close to betting the Minnesota Twins. I made no bets before the show started, and this was the only one that I was thinking of. I was going to bet if everything correlated. It did not. Let's discuss this spot here and see if my thoughts change. In Minnesota, 85 Fahrenheit, 6.1 miles per hour, slightly out, left to right, dies down to 3.8 and becomes slightly in by the end of the game. We'll go over to the line history in this Twinkie spot. Waka versus Joe Ryan. Oh, come on. Here, taking a second to load. So while that's... Oh, here we go. And we have no movement. I take that back. No movement on Boston. That's interesting. Boston opened up at plus 109. They're still at plus 109. But the Twins have gone from minus 129 to minus 119. And that move happened at 10 in the morning because the Twins got up to minus 134. So they've come back. So the Twins are minus 119, 10 cents worse than what they opened for. And this total has had a 8-cent move to the under. 8-cent move to the under. Why did it not move to the Twins? Why is it moving to the under? You could say, well, clearly the market thinks that Walker is going to have a nice start. You have 20% line value on the Twins, 3,820 tickets in, 52% of the tickets, 78% of the cash is on the Twins. So big bets are coming in on the Twins. Why is the market not moving towards them? 36% of tickets on the under, 52% of cash on the under. R2D2 says Twins game under. Space Guard Ghostman says I was leaning Twins until I saw that Walker was pitching. Says never bet against Walker. Billy Friedrich says first 500. Amazing how Walker storyline around him changed. Because before this year, you'd see Walker on the mound and you'd think, gotta bet against Walker. But he's been very good this year. Much love. There's Officer of 50 Yashala. Our guy Robert Cherry says, got to go to work. Much love. Thank you for joining us, my guy. R2D2 is on the under. Billy Friedrich's on the first 5 under. Walker and Ryan have both been good for these teams so far. For me with Ryan, it's being at home. He's so good at home. He's coming off 6 innings, not allowing a run, 8 Ks, 3 walks, 9-0 win at home versus the Giants. At home this year, he's 6-3 with a 2.69 ERA, 179 opponent's batting average. I just don't understand why the market's not moving more towards the Twins. Walker was not good in his last start, 9-8 loss at home versus the Rays, 4 earned runs, 5 hits in 6 innings. He's 4-0 on the road, but his numbers are worse on the road. 3.30 ERA, 230 opponent's batting average. The guy's 9-1 on the year. He's 9-1 on a team that's 6 games under 500 with a 2.53 ERA, 1.03 WHIP. Last 30, both teams hitting righties similarly. Red Sox 261, 708. Twins 252, 715. The big difference here is this Twins bullpen is pitching much better, and the Red Sox bullpen is awful. Over the last 30 days, 5.88 ERA, 1.52 WHIP. Take it away here for us, Moose. Red Sox, Twinkies.
Well, I did bite the bait. I am on the Twins. A lot of it, though, is about the Red Sox bullpen. And I'm not going to go first 5 on the Twins. I will go full game. And I am also going to be on that first 5 under. I agree that Walker and Joe Ryan, the situation definitely is conducive to kind of limit the offense. And you also look at what these teams have done versus right-handed pitching since the 15th of this month. Minnesota hasn't really been able to do much with power, a 111 ISO power. Boston has a 121 ISO power, so not a lot of power there. And if you're going up against Walker, you definitely want your team to have that ability to drive the ball out of the ballpark because he's been one of those guys that you just really can't explain. He's got an expected ERA that's 2 full runs higher than his regular ERA. He's been one of those pitchers that I really have tried to find the right spots to fade. And I don't necessarily think this is a fade spot on Walker. This is just I think at the end of the day, the Twins are going to end up winning. I didn't get the minus 119 that popped up. I did construct a -1 for the Twins full game. But Joe Ryan at home has been outstanding. Michael Walker is just continued to outpitch his metrics. I mean, I look at his expected batting averages on all of his pitches, and it's crazy fluctuation. You have a 293 expected batting average on his 4-seam fastball, but a 198 expected batting average on his changeup. And he's got a 33% whiff percentage on his changeup, telling you that he is able to get hitters to think fastball and throw the changeup way too consistently. And that's the sign of an extremely veteran and savvy pitcher, a guy that I thought that without Yadier Molina was going to have some kind of regression, but that has not been the case. His cutter, though, expected batting average 321, sinker, curveball, expected batting average is about 220, 250. It's just numbers that you go, all right, well, Walker should definitely at some point regress, but it's literally been the narrative the entire season. That has been the discussion around Walker for the entire season. Like, all right, well, the metrics, he's definitely due for regression. Okay, he's definitely due for regression now. All right, he's absolutely 100% definitely due for regression. And it just doesn't seem to happen. I think it's a low-scoring game. I like the Red Sox bullpen, which has been pretty tough the last few weeks, a 5.92 ERA, but I expect some kind of improvement, just not a ton of it. 3.76 FIP, a 4.17 xFIP. So there should be some improvement, but I don't think it's going to be a significant improvement, which is exactly why I'm going to play the first 5 under over the full game under, because if the Twins do score, I expect them to score late. And I hope they score late because that's going to tie into my bet. I have the Twins -1, and I have the first 5 under 4.
All right, well, let's line shop for you. Your bets on this were what I initially wanted to do. I'm not sure about the first 5 under. I didn't dislike it, but I definitely wanted to back the Twins. But I can't do it. I can't do it if it's this. When everybody knows what Ryan does at home, and everybody knows the Red Sox are falling apart, why would they give us this number?
I think it's a lot of it because Ryan has had this is going to be his 4th start at home in a row. I mean, that's just a lot of comfort. And if he had a road start in between, I'd be apprehensive here. But if it's sustained, consistent home starts, one after the other, his routine is going to be locked in. And for younger pitchers, that's absolutely what you need. You have to have that routine locked in at the end of the season, towards the latter part of the season. And you have to have the team, the full resources that are available to you from the team at your disposal. And it's way more difficult to do that on the road than it is at home. So that's another thing that really did play in here was the fact that this is a 4th start at home in a row. And I really like Ryan. I liked him the entire year. This is a good spot for me to continue betting him. I know Walker on the other side. That's why I put the under in there as well. Bullpen is going to hopefully give me this casher on the Twins.
I said the exact same thing yesterday about Zach Gallen. It was his 3rd straight home start. I went on the first 5 under 3.5 because I thought Nola would look good. But look what Zach Gallen did. 7 innings, no earned runs in his 3rd straight home start. I've always loved that angle. Is that what should push me over the top and bet the Twins here? I mean, I love that angle. And the Red Sox bullpen falling apart. Okay, you want the Twins on the -1 line?
Yeah, I took the -1 because that was just better money for me. It was a better odds. And if I'm taking the money line at something over -120, I'll almost always make it a -1. That's just how I roll with that kind of stuff.
I'd be curious to see, and I don't do this with Pinnacle very often, but they offer you the -1 at +119. I wonder if I built it, would I get something better? Probably not, but it's worth checking quickly. And +120, 1 cent better if you build your own. Okay, so we'll give you the -1 at +120 here, and then you want the first 5.
Yeah, first 5 under.
First 5 under. Walker struggling in his last start. It was like one of those situations where you're like, finally. Finally.
Yeah. All the things you talk about, like all the things you like as a capper that goes on front of the screen. If you talk about something enough and it never happens, you're just like, well, all right, I'm just going to stop talking about it. And then it finally does, and you haven't been talking about it. It's like, I don't know why people even listen to me sometimes, But
well, you have a choice here. Let's just see if Circa is going to give you the same opportunity. So Circa's first 5 is at under 4.5 at -113. That's a really good number.
I like that.
That is much better than Pinnacle. So first 5 under 4.5 -113. Space Guard Ghostman says Twins have been home for a week with their wives and girlfriends. It's a 2-way street. And Big Show. It's a 2-way street with that, when you're on the road, maybe you stay out a little late. Maybe I never know what's the best. I know that when you come home from a long road trip, that's not enjoyable. But I don't know if being home for a week with their wives and girlfriends is a good thing or a bad thing. Okay, sorry I'm staying so long on this one. I just think that I'm going to come along here. I feel like Joe Ryan and the Twins got to be the play here. Twins running for this.
Yeah, but one thing you do see year in and year out is those teams that are out of contention, they are absolute spoilers, and they just ruin parties. That's something I've seen so consistently.
Those are teams that are still trying. It's the teams that fall out of the playoff spot are the ones that are dejected, who had high expectations. A team like the Pittsburgh Pirates who gets a chance to hurt somebody, especially in their division, I get that. But not a team like the Red Sox who are now 6 games under 500 and giving up on the season. Unless maybe they're playing the Yankees or the divisional battle.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to take the Twins on the -1 line. I just think that there's too much to like here. It makes me very nervous once again. I'll add some question marks to it because why, if 78% of the cash is on them, why is there not a move going towards them? That's going to keep me with question marks, unfortunately. All right, Space Guard Ghostman says, first time listening to Moose Money Bets, dig his calm demeanor and his info. I love it. Thank you, Space Guard Ghostman. Let's move on to 8:10 p.m. Eastern. Kansas City Royals, 53-77. 21-40 on the road. The Chicago White Sox, 63-66. 30-35 at home at Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago, Illinois. Let's move over to the weather first in the south side of Chi-Town. 79 Fahrenheit, 7 miles per hour to left field. 6.6 miles per hour it dies down to, and then it becomes right to left in the last hour of this ball game. Then let's move over to the cash flow here. Move over this. Sorry, it's going to just take me a second. Here we go. This is Chris Bubich going up against Lance Lynn. And the White Sox are clearly falling apart here. But I feel like Lance Lynn is going to be the same bulldog he's always been and kind of can be trusted down the stretch here. There's been a 16-cent move towards the Chicago White Sox. From a total perspective, it opened up at 8.5, juice to the under. It's now still juice to the under, but not as much. There's been like a 7 or 6 cent move towards the over. So a slight move towards the over, 16-cent move towards the Chicago White Sox. 4,350 tickets in. 25% of tickets, 32% of cash on the Royals. Some big bets made on them. Then 20% of tickets, 31% of cash on the under. So some bigger bets on the under, but public betting an over here. Bubich has been bad. His last start, 13-5 loss at home to the Padres. 4 innings, 9 hits, 6 earned runs, 2 homers, 3 Ks, 1 walk. On the road, he's actually been a little better than he's been at home this year, but still bad. It doesn't matter if it's on the road or at home. They're hitting almost 300 against them in both spots. Lance Lynn, 3-5, 5 ERA, 1.19 whip. 83 Ks, 13 walks is nice, but 15 home runs is too much to allow in 77 and a third. His last start was nice. It was a 4-3 extra inning loss at the Orioles, but it was not on him. 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, just 1 was earned. 8 Ks, 1 walk. And he's been pitching better at home than he's been on the road. The Royals versus righties last 30, 236.69 OPS. White Sox versus lefties, 261, 722. Royals bullpen so bad. White Sox not quite as bad. Take it away here for us, Moose, Royals, White Sox.
I will do a breakdown on this, but I definitely want to do this. It's something that I've been jealous that a lot of people have done before me. So backwood this motherfucker. I do. I do see, just some inconsistency here. It is tough to back either one of these pitchers. It's tough to get on any kind of over with these offenses, just how inconsistent they are. This is just such a tough game. So it's a game I circled, and I even made a note to myself, like, I want to say backwood this tomorrow. So I got to do it. So that's my big goal accomplished for this game is I got to say backwood this motherfucker.
I'm the opposite. I think this is a money-making opportunity on Lance Lynn to show out down the stretch and Bubich to continue to play poorly. The White Sox have started to hit lefties with a bit of power, and I would like to move on the White Sox, both first 5 -0.5 and full game -1. Lamont Williams has a max bet on Atlanta Red Line. Wager me this. New name in the chat says, y'all should have me on. I have a channel 2. And I like your guys' show. Thank you. Wager me this. Thank you. I will keep an eye on your channel. Wager me this. And
yeah, with Lance Lynn, it's just when I did the little breakdown on him, and he got me last time. So I went up against him, and he got me when I was going up against him with the Guardians. It's just that all the metrics show that his stuff is just has decreased so significantly. I mean, his curveball is down an average of 5.6 vertical inches. His sinker is down 4.5, and these are all new career lows for him in terms of his movement and his metrics. So I love the fact that he's pitched well his last few games. That's awesome, but there's no way I'm going to try to go in and say, okay, I really think that Lance Lynn has figured it out. It's great that his whip has continued to go lower. That's a fantastic sign. But there's been too many hits that have been given up. He's given up way too many home runs for me to kind of jump onto anything. And that's definitely something the Royals can do. I mean, like most major league teams, is they can definitely put it out. But with Pasquantino, Salvi back there, they definitely have the ability to put some balls out of the yard. That's the big reason why. As soon as I saw the matchup, it was just like, I'm not going to bet an over here. I'm not going to bet an under here. I'm not going to bet the Royals. I'm not going to bet the White Sox. It was such a quick pass for me. I'm not going to tell you that like there's not money to be made here. I mean, because if you win the bet, obviously there's money. But my personal reaction to it was a quick pass. I usually don't give quick passes, but this was absolutely one of the games I just said, this is way too tough for me to take any stance on in any way, shape, or form, like leans, whatever. It was just too tough for me to do that.
Yeah, I hear you, and this could easily be just a vividness bias in effect, but I liked that last start at Baltimore. I liked it quite a bit. Just felt like he was back being that bulldog again. And
I love him as a pitcher.
Yeah, now he's going to try to right the ship. All of it makes me want to back him. Space Guard Ghostman says Yohan Moncada has had a terrible season. Went back to the DL. Hopefully they trade him to the Marlins for Avisail Garcia. Get Avisail Garcia back. Yeah, Yohan Moncada has not turned out to be the player. You know, it's so risky, I think, giving the big contracts. Like, you know, if you look at Julio and the Mariners, he's now locked up for 15 years. And are you still going to get that fight? Because Bo Bichette and Vladdy Guerrero, I know it's very different. Julio needed to get money for his family. He got $15 million right now. He's got $15 million given to him as soon as he signed the contract for his family. And if I was Julio, I would have done the same thing. Take care of your family right now while you can. But Bo Bichette, Vladdy are rich kids, but now they have a lot to fight for. They've got to play their absolute very best to get that $500 million contract. It's dangerous. Moncada gets a big contract, and what's he do? Squad ass fucking zilch. Billy Friedrich says White Sox will blow this thing up. Moncada, Giolito, Anderson, Jimenez, Grandal may all be gone, and Billy does not want Avi Garcia back. And Space Car Ghostman says, nah, once you get paid, you get lazy. Nothing like having your back against the wall. No, there's a ton of truth to that. Okay, I am moving on the White Sox here. I think that they take care of business, and Bubic is a bitch. Move on to 9:38 p.m. Eastern, the second to last game on the card. Wait, why do I feel like... Oh, because we didn't... my bad. When we talked about the Braves game, I had the spreadsheet play of the day on the top of my thing, but I didn't have it here. So the spreadsheet play of the day is the Braves minus 1.5. So we have the Braves minus 1.5 for spreadsheet. That's the spreadsheet play of the day. And then we are one game away from the tank play of the day. But let's give Ron Crawford a big shout out. Spreadsheet play of the day is the Braves minus 1.5 for good old spreadsheet. All right, Yankees, Angels, Angel Stadium, Anaheim, California. That over yesterday was too fucking easy. Garrett Cole, 10-6, 3.31 ERA, 157 2/3, 200 Ks, 39 walks, and 22 home runs. His last start, 3-2 win at Oakland. Very nice pitching opportunity for him, and he showed out. 7 1/3, 3 hits, 1 earned run, solo shot, 11 Ks, 2 walks. On the road, he's been slightly worse than he's been at home. 6-1, 3.52 ERA, 208 opponent's batting average. Going up against Patrick Sandoval, who's coming off an 8-3 loss at the Rays. 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 1 homer. Solo shot, 5 Ks, and 1 walk. At home, he's been slightly worse than he's been on the road. 2-4, 3.38 ERA, 260 opponent's batting average. Yankees versus lefties, 259, 787 OPS over the last 30 days, while the Angels have struggled against righties, 227, 676 OPS. Where neither team has struggled is their bullpen. Both bullpens have been good, especially the Angels bullpen. Over the last 30 days, 3.16 ERA, 1.08 whip. The weather played a part in us moving on the over yesterday. Let's see what the weather is today. It's not quite as strong, and it's hot, which is such offensive weather. But the wind does die down. Opens up at 6.9 miles an hour, dies down to 3.9, but hot. You're right. 92 Fahrenheit, it goes down to 85. And when it's hot like this, it's just offensive weather. It just feels like there's a highway to home runs.
Well, I mean, there is a highway out in center field, so.
And there is, yes. The gorgeous. This is now what, the second or the third oldest stadium, the fourth oldest stadium in the league, and the gorgeous highway outside of center field.
LA has 2 of the oldest stadiums in baseball.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like there's going to, you know what they're trying to do is buy the land outside of Angel Stadium. So the only thing they could do is, it looks like they're not going to do anything with the new ownership coming in. Okay, let's go through the line history here, and then we'll talk about where the cash lies. Second to last game on the card, Cole Sandoval line history here. We have a 7-cent move or a 6-cent move to the Angels. And then we have a 3-cent move to the over. So a slight move to the Angels, a slight move to the over. When we go over to Sports Insights, we see that there is 5,560 tickets in. 16% of the tickets are on the Angels and 60% of the cash. Big bets coming in on the Los Angeles Angels. Then 54% tickets, 55% cash on the under. Very interesting. Sharps on the Angels and Patrick Sandoval. Interesting spot. Take it away, Moose. Yankees, Angels.
Yeah, I get it. I'm not gonna bet it. I'm not gonna put my money on the Angels. I do like how Sandoval has pitched, but he does have some kind of discrepancy with his numbers versus lefties and righties. Versus lefties, 0.84 WHIP versus right-handed hitters, 1.56 WHIP. In 87 innings, he's given up 93 hits to right-handed hitters, and the Yankees definitely have quite a few right-handed hitters. Garrett Cole he's been a fun fade at times. I know Jose has made quite a bit of money off of him. Shout out Jose for absolutely crushing Garrett Cole this year. If you ever meet him, you can tell him that you absolutely faded him to perfection.
Mm-hmm.
Like Cole for strikeouts. The matchup between Cole and Trout has favored Trout, and I could see the Angels having a decent game. But hot weather can absolutely be beneficial to the offense. But one of the other counterpoints to that is that a pitcher they can feel looser throughout the game because their arm doesn't really get tight or anything in the dugout because of that heat. They're able to keep that blood flow going. So sometimes it can be conducive to lesser offense when you have better pitchers on the other side because they're able to keep that shoulder. They're able to keep the blood flow in the shoulder a lot more consistent. That doesn't get tight, doesn't get colder at nights like it has in the past. So I could see Garrett Cole having an absolute great game. Sandoval, I could see him having a decent game. He's pitched well recently, but that lefty-righty split is absolutely something that concerns me. And there's not a lot of experience versus Sandoval from the Yankees, so I could kind of see that being a wash. It's just a game I'm not going to end up being on. I could see it being a Yankee spot, or at least an under spot from the Yankees' perspective, but they have been hitting lefties pretty well recently versus lefties since the 8th or the 15th of August. They are weighted runs created plus 114, but they're ISO under 140, under 150 at 132. Average is 250. Their OPS is up there, but that's telling you that there's not a bunch of power. And this is a left-handed pitchers away. So their power numbers, their home run numbers obviously go way down when they're outside Yankee Stadium. I'm not sure if anybody follows the Twitter page, Will It Dong, but Yankee Stadium leads the MLB in home runs that wouldn't be home run in any other stadium. So that can be helpful for that. I definitely think it would be more of an under spot than anything. But I kind of think it could be a sneaky little Yankee spot, but the price of it is just way too much for it to use the term sneaky. There's nothing sneaky about trying to make a minus 200. So if there was anything I'd be on, it would potentially be an under or trying to throw the Yankees in a parlay piece. I'm not going to be on the Angels here. I love that people are getting on them here with Trout and coming back and the new ownership potentially coming in that could help create a winning organization. But that doesn't play into today's game. There's not much to be said about how that's going to impact any kind of capping on for today. I'm off of it. I do lean under.
How do you Garrett Cole from Newport Beach, how do you think that affects him getting the pitch back in Southern California?
Well, he hit his favorite burrito spot. I can guarantee you that. And how much of that is going to affect him today? I doubt he was gorging himself on those monster burritos from Los Primos or anything like that. I think it doesn't pay it's not something we should pay as much attention to, other than the fact that he could be a little bit more relaxed and he can have friends and family in the stands that he's going to want to impress. But at this point in his career, I mean, what more does he have to impress? I mean, he's already won a Cy Young. He's already been a World Series contender. So at this point, it's not something that I would look at this point of his career. Early on, like for guys like Tristan McKenzie, if they're pitching in front of the friends and family, absolutely that's a situation you want to try to get in on because you know that he's going to have that extra focus. I think he's just happy to be kind of home and visiting some of his old haunts. That'd be my reaction to him going back to Newport area.
Garrett Cole doesn't have any friends or family that like him, so that's not true move.
Fair point. Fair point.
He has got the last laugh with his fight with Trevor Bauer. They both played at UCLA and hated each other, and he won.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give that race as an incomplete yet. I'm gonna give that as an incomplete.
Well, I'm pretty sure Bauer completed. I'm pretty sure he completed.
Bauer handled it. You know, Bauer's drone pilot cut his finger before that huge playoff game against the Jays, and I was like, "What a fucking idiot! Who could try? How could you? The biggest game of his life, and he's cuts his finger on his drone." You know, this game makes me nervous. I don't want the Yankees. It'd be Angels or nothing. The weather's offensive, but the pitching is very strong. Jay Vegas says sprinkling a little on Angels just to cheer against Garrett Cole. Hope they chase him in the second. And Space Guard Ghostman says that the Venezuelan flag behind Jose. You're damn right it is. And you know what? Let's do it today. I want to go get some cachapa today. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Cachapa.
You never say it right.
How is it? What is it again?
You get cachapas.
Okay, cachapas. I want to get some cachapas. I'm gonna get some today. That rocked my whole world. Okay, that is Yankees Angels. Are you fading Garrett Cole today, Jose Bouquet?
I don't know yet. Probably not, because the Angels are a dumpster fire. But Ohtani is gonna hopefully go off a little bit today and continue his MVP march. You know, it'll be very interesting. And by the way, Jim, I don't know if you know this. This is some inside baseball right here. Computer dies. So I have to drive mid-show from my house to the studio, produce it the whole way, and there was a fucking rainstorm. Almost died. Still produce it the whole way. Not a fucking big deal. Whatever.
Hey, don't produce and drive.
Yeah, that's the old saying. 9:40 p.m. Eastern, final game on the card, and this one I'm looking forward to talk about. Philadelphia Phillies, 72-58, 33-28 on the road. Been a good road team all year. At the Arizona Diamondbacks, 61-67, 34-32 at home. Diamondbacks made a lot of their backers money this year. We're at Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona, so the roof will be up. And Phillies first 5 minus a half at plus 100 is the taint play of the day. Phillies first 5 minus a half at even money is taint. Bailey Falter going up against Tommy Henry. Falter 2-3, 4.41 ERA, 1.24 WHIP, 46 Ks in 51 innings. I like Falter. 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 homers, 6 Ks, 0 walks, and a 7-4 win at home versus the Pirates last out. He's been slightly better on the road than he's been at home, but the sample size is small and doesn't really need to be broken down. Going up against Tommy Henry, another good-looking young lefty. 3-2, 3.25 ERA, 1.27 WHIP. Last start, 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 3 Ks, 3 walks, and a 7-2 win at the White Sox. And he has been lights out at home. Again, the sample size is minute, but he's got a 1.46 ERA and 2.22 opponent's batting average. Phillies smash lefties. Tommy Henry went up against the Cardinals and shut them down, and they smash lefties. Smash lefties harder than the Phillies. Don't have as high of a batting average, but a higher OPS. Phillies have the best batting average in the league last 30 against lefties, 317, 880 OPS. Ronnie and Berge cashed with those Diamondbacks last night. Diamondbacks versus lefties, 231, 646 OPS. And there we go. Pimp slap play of the day is on Arizona first 5. 10-3 last 13 from ye old Pimp slap. Let's pop this here and get that lined up here. MDR 2-4 says D-Bags continue to shell the Phils pitching tonight. Okay. Diamondbacks versus lefties, just 231, 646 OPS, and both bullpens are terrible. Phillies bullpen just getting worse and worse. The season goes on. 5.05 ERA, 1.47 WHIP. Topset says I was on 300s yesterday and swept the board. Just taking what the crystal ball gives me, says Topset. Okay, so let's take a look at the line history and then where the cash is, and then put a bow. Then we have friends and family parlay, and then put a bow on this. Here we go. We have a 10-cent move to the Arizona Diamondbacks, and we have a 15. Oh no, it moved from 9 to 9.5. My bad. Opened up at 9, and then 9:41 this morning went to 9.5. Interesting. Very interesting. Let's see if the cash correlates with all that. I did not expect that. You have slight line value on Arizona and Tommy Henry. I'd say 12%, 15%. 55% of the tickets, 63% of the cash is on the Philadelphia Phillies. Then you have 69% of tickets and 81% of the cash on the over, and that makes sense. It's gone from 9 to 9.5. LJ from H-Town says, I'm on the Diamondbacks again, first 5. Take it away here for us, Moose. Last game on the board, Phillies D-backs.
Man, a lot of plays of the day on this game. Add one more. This is my Moose Call play of the day. I'm on the over. I took it last night, and JPZ, I did the same damn thing. I got the 9 last night, but I knew this game was going to go to 9.5, so I bet 9.5 last night because I just had that feeling like there's going to be money on this. That plus 115 or plus 110 I'm getting on the 9.5 just felt like it was just so nice. So I did take the over here. A lot of things to consider, and I get that Falter and Henry both look like guys that can be productive, but there has been a lot of traffic that has been created by both these pitchers, and a lot of the traffic has been generated via the hit. Falter has been giving up home runs, and that's something that the Diamondbacks absolutely do, and they do it pretty well at home. Versus lefties at home, the Diamondbacks 150 weighted runs created plus in their last. I'm sorry, I need to update that a little bit. That was incorrect. Back me up a little bit. At home, 142 weighted runs created plus since the beginning of the month. Granted, it's only about 100 plate appearances or 80 plate appearances, but 302 average, 429 slug, 842 OPS. ISO, not all that great, not hitting for a ton of home runs, but Falter coming in that gives up the home run. I do like that. Henry is one of those guys. I think there's going to be regression here as the league kind of adjusts to him. So certain pitchers will come out and have a lot of success, and then the league adjusts. Other guys will come out and they'll struggle, and then they'll make the adjustment, and then it's up to the league to have to adjust to their adjustment. Henry, 3.25 ERA, 5.06 expected ERA. And you mentioned the bullpens, how they've both been really bad. Let me scroll all the way to the bottom here. Philadelphia, 5.23 ERA. Arizona, 6.35 ERA. There should be a little bit of improvement from both of these bullpens because their xFIP and their FIP are both in the 4s. But a 4 ERA is not – that's not good. Like, you don't want to have your ERA in the mid-4s. If you're at 4.1, okay, we can have a discussion about whether you're good or not. But 4.5, 5s, those are terrible numbers from the bullpen. So I definitely like runs to be scored in this game. Arizona at home has definitely been a team to bet on. I like the over a lot, and so much so that I actually bet it twice. I took the 9 and the 9.5, but it was very much an anticipation of the 9.5 not being there, knowing I wanted to give everybody the play that I was most excited about, which is this over and the Diamondbacks and Phillies.
All right, the Moose Call play of the day, and you have an option. The 9's available at circa minus 122. 9.5 is available at plus 103.
Yeah, give me. I'll take the 9.5 at the better money because it's just one of those plays where I'm very confident in it, and I took the 9.5 last night, fully expecting it to go to 9.5, and also prepared that if it was not a situation where I could take a 9, that on the show I would take it at 9.5. So I was prepared to do that. My mindset was already there. So I'm just gonna do that. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna take the 9.5. I endorse the 9 fully. That's probably more the Moose Call is the 9 than the 9.5. But for the show, I will take the 9.5. And I am very, very confident that there's going to be runs. The Moose Call has been a little disconnected. It started off really hot, had some really bad beats, literally lost a run line in the 9th inning with a 3-run lead. So, thank you, Tigers, for that one. But I feel very confident in this one. I really like this.
Moose Call play of the day, over 9.5 at plus 102 in Philly, Arizona. Interesting. I love hearing you break down pitchers. The market with you, 68% ticket, 76% cash on the over. Jose, can we get a Moose Call from you to celebrate the Moose Call play of the day? Thank you, Jose Bouquet.
Can I veto that? Like, what kind of sway do I have?
No, you can't.
Able to...
No,
crap.
You can't. Okay. Let's review all action and then decide that. Oh,
I'm
I
not
thought you
going
were coming back for another Moose call. I thought we were going to get another Moose call.
I'll sneak one in here maybe later, but
I'd like that.
it's almost friends and family time.
It is friends and family time. The friends and family parlay has hit a bit of a cold patch. We've lost 3 straight: Wednesday, August 24th, Thursday, 25th, and Tuesday, August 30th. But we are 4-11, hitting at 26.7%, plus 11.68 units, ROI plus 77.87%, average line plus 548. Let's review all action here and then decide what the plan is. We'll let our Moose Money bets go first, Jose second, and then I'll close it up. Astros Rangers under 7.5 for Moose. That game pops off in 25 minutes, and I expect to move on that with you, but I got to make that decision pretty soon. And I also got to make this decision. I'm going to move on either the first 5 under 4.5 or the full game under 8.5 in Pittsburgh, Milwaukee. I'm going to go over those as soon as the show's over and then bet them. Moose is tripled up on the Orioles Guardians game. Guardians -1 and first 5 under 4.5 and full game under 8. Cardinals Reds, we stayed off, as we did Rays Marlins. Moose is on the under 8.5 in Oakland, Washington. I'm joining him. I plan to move on the over in Chicago, Toronto, but I want a little bit more time on that. Moose is on the first 5 under 3.5 in Dodgers Mets, and I already bet that. I bet that during the show. -125. I just didn't think it would stay there. I moved on. It was -126 at Pinnacle. We got that -118 at Circa. Seattle, Detroit, we stayed off. Spreadsheet play today is the Braves -1.5. And then we have a double up spot for Moose. He's on the Twins -1 at +120 in the first 5 under 4.5 -113. I want to take the Twins -1, but the market making me a little uncomfortable. I'm doubling up on the White Sox. That's me just being a bullish. If this doesn't work for me, let's take one last look at the cash on this one. Then, so here we have 74% of tickets, 67% of cash. So there are some big bets still coming on the Royals. Yankees, Angels. Mike M says that reminds me of a scene in Dumb and Dumber. Hey, you want to hear the most annoying sound in the world? It does. Speaking of that, when I told you guys about that fight between Chen and Tyson, we were tripping balls and we were doing the Mockingbird song throughout the casino. Whenever you couldn't find somebody, you'd scream "mock" as loud as you can, and someone else would yell "ing."
Yeah.
I thought we were going Hunger Games on that.
I've never seen the Hunger Games. I know not what you speak of. At home, we have opposites, right? I don't watch any fiction at all. I don't give a fuck about it. And you
give Ella a couple of years, in like 2-3 years, maybe 4 years, she'll be all into the Hunger Games series.
We'll see. She's going to be at the horse track with me hammering ponies, man. Moose call play today is the over 9.5. All right, you got it, Mike. Yeah.
Mock. Yeah.
Okay, Moose, friends and family, take it away.
Yeah, throw in I'll take the -9 on the over. Throw that in there. It's a little easier to cash that, or at least it'll push. Does the push for the friends and family just go void to the next 2 bets? How does that work for how you guys place that parlay? All right, then let's just do the -9, because if it didn't void, I'd do the 9.5. But if it's just like a kind of a push to the next 2, I'll do the 9.
All right, so you're getting that. We're getting that 9 at -123 at Pinnacle. All right, Jose Bouquet, take it away. There's Brian Watson. The taint play today is Phillies first 5 -0.5. But let's hear what Jose has to say. Jose, friends and family.
It's a tough one. I don't like much on today's card. I almost died on the way over here, braving the elements. I kind of like Oakland first 5 money line, I'll be honest, with the little Anibal Sanchez fade. I don't think he's going to keep up his performance, and we know the Sharps always love our guy, James Caprillion. However, I think I'm going to roll with the Red Sox, Minnesota Twins, first 5 under 4 there. Got it at -105. I like my guy, Joe Ryan. The moment I realized Joe Ryan was legit is when he first pitched against the Red Sox earlier in this year, dazzled them. Will he pitch as well? Probably not. I don't think he can. I mean, fatigue and all those factors always come into it, but Red Sox offensively are horrid. Michael Wacha has been the best pitcher on the squad for a couple weeks now. Since he came back, actually. But yeah, it's a first 5 under there for me.
Do you want the 4 or the 4.5?
I'll take the 4.5 since we're feeling ballsy today.
4.5. That's minus 124. Okay, I will take the first 5 under 3.5 in Dodgers Mets. First 5 under 3.5. Let's see what Penny is offering that up at here. Here we go. So the first 5 under 3.5 in this one, is it still available? Tell me it's still available. Yes, it is. Okay, that's at minus 126. So let's pull all this together. We have also, maybe not. I was going to say this will set us up. It won't. It could, and it will. You'll have a chance if you want, if we cash the first 2 spots, to hedge. So,
But we don't hedge. Hedging is for gardeners.
I don't know. But you have that opportunity. You can make that decision for yourself.
That's translation to Jimmy. If those first 2 legs hit, I'm hedging. I'm hedging. That's
It depends how the day's gone. But I would like to guarantee. I'd like to sit back and relax. I would prefer just to sit back and relax. All right, so let's just put that all together here. That's the first 5 under 3.5 minus 126. Jose is on the first 5 in the Boston game. Boston Twinkies, first 5 under 4.5. Here we go. First 5 under 4.5 minus 124. And then the final one is the Moose call play of the day, but he's taking it at 9, which I do like for a parlay purposes. Move that over here, and that 9 for the full game. Over 9. That gives us a plus 487, slightly under our average line. A plus 487 parlay. Friends and family. I like this friends and family. I like this one.
all of them. I love all of them.
No, a lot of them make me extremely nervous. But that has the ones I get nervous on. That doesn't.
Those are the ones that cash.
Yeah. It's like it doesn't really matter.
Definite.
In fact, I'll tell you what. I hate betting these. I don't like it. Like I don't like every time I put it on, I'm like, fuck.
Well, Jimmy, you hate your family sometimes too. You hate your friends sometimes, but they still come back and you love them at the end of the day.
Yes. I hate is a strong word.
Yes, it is.
I don't hate.
I throw around strong words all the time. Like I hate Aaron Judge and Garrett Cole. Example.
I hate Stu Jackson. I hate John. I hate John Tortorella. I hate Jim Benning. Okay, there you go. Ashman. There's the friends and family parlay plus 487.
Evan Longoria.
You hate Evan Longoria?
I fucking can't stand. I'd fist fight Evan Longoria on site, and Dan Johnson too. Dan Johnson, it would be on site as well.
Yeah, I feel like you got a long list.
Oh, I hold grudges, Moose. I hold grudges.
Oh, I do too.
Oh, I hold grudges as well. King Al, and it's not a good thing to hold grudges.
No, it's not.
Oh, and I disagree. I love it. Fucking,
I mean,
like
there's two.
Carl Crawford, I'd fist fight. Pablo Sandoval, I'd call a fat ass piece of shit every time I see him.
Jesus.
Yeah,
one of my least favorite Venezuelans there.
Wow. Who was it?
Pablo Sandoval, that fat fuck.
Oh, yeah. So I heard Patrick Sandoval. I was like, wait, what?
So fat that he can't even swing a bat without breaking his belt. Never forget.
Hey, some of us struggle with that. All right.
Yeah. And just that fat ass Pablo Sandoval does. And then Carl Crawford, what he's doing to Meg the Stallion just breaks my heart.
What?
Meg the Stallion, yeah. Carl Crawford, now a rap promoter of Meg the Stallion and hoeing her for money.
Congratulations.
King Al says you like the Brewers under 8.5. I do, King Al. I do. And I've got to make those bets. Those games are popping off in 20 minutes. Moose money bets. On me. Moose, do you put out your Moose call play of the day?
Yeah, I didn't put anything out today. Last couple times I've been on your show, I think I showed my card before I even showed up. But today I told everybody to tune in, trying to increase all the views from my huge following that I got. So I thought it would be a little bit more of a teaser trailer promoter, but we'll see how that goes. I will be posting everything. I definitely, with all the work that's been going on with college football and the NFL, just posting can be very difficult to be consistent and teach and do coaching and all that kind of stuff. A lot going on for the Moose Man.
That's a good thing. Good thing. Your shot looks great, by the way. I'm loving it. We have, before the show finishes, a look from Razor Sharp Picks. We have his $300 Gambler's First Glance. Gambler's First Glance. It is in, and it is the Padres Giants under 7.5. Gambler's First Glance is in. I love that. I love that.
I love my Pablo Sandoval hates getting people going now. I didn't know there were so many Pablo Sandoval lovers on the chat right now. His friends and family must be here.
Well, it just felt like fat shaming.
It did feel like that.
I called Brad Keller a fat ass for fucking weeks when he was pitching well, and no one said anything there. So sorry, he's an asshole. Screw Pablo Sandoval.
Well, Brad Keller. We have our own work with Helen Brad Keller right there.
Mm-hmm.
God, she's a smoke show in that shot, eh?
Yeah, look at the sweat underneath, like the ripples right there, and beside the 56. That's a little pool of sweat. How do you sweat there? Is my question.
That's pit and tit sweat there.
Yeah, I don't understand how you can pool right there.
Well, I mean, you've never been in a weight room, so that kind of.
No, never, not me. I'm fucking 5'8", fucking barely 150 pounds. But I'll say that I'll fight Evan Longoria right now, and he'll beat my ass, but I'll still fight him.
Oh, jeez. Imagine the party with her.
Yeah, Jimmy. Whenever he pulls up these pictures, he always goes to the grandmas too, just because he wants to see it again. Just wants to see it again.
Hey, they're living their best life. They're living their best life.
I think this is my favorite, just so we can see Moose Money down there too.
Oh yeah, we can see Moose in the knee. We can see. I like that. All right. Thank you guys so much, all of you. Jacksonville Zoe says, I laugh every time that Razor video shows up. Is he checking the picture of first base? He'll say, I love that video too. It never gets old for me. And Top Set says it right. Says grudges only hold you back from growing and evolving.
I'm fucking 5'8". I ain't growing anymore, so I'm ready to hold those grudges.
Yeah, there's two things I love to hold on to: teddy bears and grudges.
Oh no.
This has been a thing for me forever. I hold grudges for everything. Like Chipotle, like if they fuck my order up, I'll go fucking 3 or 4 months without eating Chipotle, and then I'll get back on it. But I'm a whore. But no, I hold grudges like a motherfucker. Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm glad we got more of these.
Whenever we start talking grudges, it's just reflexes. It's the same. StreamYard won't let us put more of those on there.
Yeah, we'll fix that. We'll you know what? We need another one. We need another whole. That's just I got it.
Ladies.
Yeah, let's do it. We're gonna do another one. Okay, you got homework, Jose. Thank you guys so much for being a part of the show. It means a ton to us. Mike M, Bet with JR2D2 Finland, Ronnie and Bergie, James S, Space Guard, Ghostman. I have 16 minutes to get my action in. I'm fine with that. It'll be fine. Jacksonville Zoe, who you'll see a lot more of in football season. Jacksonville Zoe, great capper. Also college football. Would love to get you on our live casts. Jacksonville Zoe's Money in the Bank. Top Set Nasty Nate, AJ 1337. I liked having Space Guard Ghostman in there. He was helpful. I liked him a lot. Billy Friedrich, Abel A, Brian Watson, LJ from H-Town, R2D2 Finland, and his nephew's fight. Oh God! And then I looked up at the wrong time. Thank you guys all so much. Let's just do a final review of action, and then Moose will leche us into the future. Don't forget, we have big shows today. We have 3:10 p.m. prize picks, the Walking Dead player props with Sharpie. At 4:20, we have the daily sesh with Dutch Boy Fresh and Dabra Cadabra. And then at 5:30, we have Say Hey Plays here. Razor just threw up in his mouth. I that wasn't me. That was Jose. I had everybody aroused and feeling good, and then.
Well, I personally do not want our public just aroused watching us. That's just me. That's
it's not us. They're not watching us.
Well, I don't know. They're watching the show. They're watching the show, and you're making them aroused, Jimmy. That's all I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing.
Look, it's not us. I mean, imagine sharing a glass of wine with her, man. She's going to teach you a thing or six. I'll tell you that much.
Jimmy, just imagine this and then throw
it. Oh, God. All right. Let's get that off. Okay. Last review. Ron Crawford spreadsheet play today. Atlanta -1.5. Ron Crawford NCAA spreadsheet play today. Penn State. Moose is on the under 7.5. Oh, shit. That starts at 9. You know what? I got to go. I got to get this action in. I got to fuck off. We've gone over everything already. I don't need to do it again. I got to fuck off. I forgot that. That's a 2:05 p.m. start. Okay, I got to go. Let's go out there and get that fucking cash. Moose, baby. Great job today. Could you leche us into the future?
Oh, absolutely. Vamos a los deportes a leche!
We at Pub Sports Radio are doing our own Cappers contest. $100 entry fee. We will all be competing against each other. Every single cent that's put in will go into the prizes.
You've got 5 picks every week. If you go to pubsportsradio.com, you buy yourself that little ticket that you see on the website right there. Just hit add a cart. You buy the little ticket right there. And after you buy the ticket, you'll get an email with a link and a specific password for you to log in, make your picks, and all that good jam.
So it coincides, of course, with a survivor pool. 1 pick per week, sports survivor pool. That's exciting. We're having a Cappers contest, 5 picks against the spread each week, and a survivor contest. We all get to toast the victors and roast the losers. The Cappers contest at Pub Sports Radio. All you have to do is go to pubsportsradio.com to sign up.